All right, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, it's 3:01, calling the meeting to order. Mauricio?
Commissioner Joseph.
Present.
Commissioner Vizcarra.
Here.
Commissioner Stuyvesant is running late. Commissioner Lama is also presumably, and Mayor Svechin.
Here.
We have a quorum, ma'am.
Great, wonderful. All right, I know we had some changes or one change.
Yes, we have a few changes to the agenda, Mayor, if you give me 1 second.
Okay.
So we are deferring item 2A, which is a legislative update by Representative Basavi.
Mm-hmm.
We are also deferring the following discussion items. 3D, discussion regarding feasibility of bio seawalls. 3E, as in Edward, discussion regarding remote voting. Item 3G, discussion regarding holiday light decorations for the 2026 holiday season. And we are moving up discussion item 3H at the request of staff, which is a display of fireworks for July 4th.
Okay, we're moving that up to the to 3A. For
So,
discussion.
yeah,
Okay.
the first discussion to be considered.
All right, wonderful. Well, this is an exciting agenda. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Go ahead, Mauricio.
Okay,
First
so the first item is 2B, City Manager's Award.
Mayor and Commissioners, I look forward to having this award each year and recognize the staff and the great job that they do. The City Manager Award, I established this award to recognize someone who goes above and beyond in their work and in their approach to what they do. And I try to share some information about the person without everybody figuring out who it is. So this person faced a monumental task from day one and continues. They walked into a department in need of updating, fixing inconsistencies at every turn, and they've worked tirelessly and taken the project on as a mission. This person has also encountered more unexpected challenges than we imagine, and they've approached it with thoroughness and expertise. They've worked diligently and professionally moving things forward, even though seemingly slow. They see the vision of what we want the city to be and leave the past as it was. The City Manager Award goes to Amy Canales.
I knew it.
So we have a plaque for Amy, and we're going to ask her to wait for our photo so that we can go down and sit with her. So Amy, thank you. And Mauricio, you ready?
Excuse me. The next item is 2C, 2025 Employee of the Year Award Presentation.
Mayor?
Please, go ahead.
Okay. Mayor and Commissioners, this is the Employee of the Year Award. And in past years, we had many different Employees of the Year at the same time, and I consolidated it really into one because I wanted the one person to be recognized, even though our staff does an excellent job across the board. These are very difficult to choose, and I get many nominations. So like my City Manager Award, the Employee of the Year Award, I try to keep it open so nobody knows until the very end. So the Employee of the Year Award is open. We've had many good suggestions by our directors and fellow employees. The reason for the selection this year is simple. This person approaches their job and their staff and the residents always with a smile and a positive attitude, which is very difficult to do, especially for me. Yet, whenever I see them, I'm always greeted with a smile, an exceptional attitude, and a can-do approach to everything that they do. The Employee of the Year Award goes to Vanessa Vieira. We bring her out. There she is. So, So Mayor, can I ask you and Vice Mayor and Commissioners to come down with
Please,
me
yeah.
and take a picture with both of them, please? Susan. Susan.
Congratulations, very, very well deserved. Okay, next item, please.
Next item is 2D, Building Department Accreditation.
Mayor? Yes.
Please.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, this is really a significant accomplishment, and it really couldn't be a surprise. But over the past 4 years, I'm proud to say that we continue to do things here that have never been done. This started with my challenge to Chief Santiago for our police department accreditation. There were so many steps involved in the accreditation process that at times I wonder if it would ever be done, and he did it. So I issued the same challenge to our building official, Dylan, and Assistant Director Paola, asking them to get the building department accredited. In the history of our city, our police department and building department have never been accredited. Now, I'm very proud to say that they have achieved accreditation, and I wanted to publicly acknowledge them and this tremendous accomplishment and thank them for this monumental achievement. So I'd like to recognize them and ask them to come up so we can take a picture, please. Good job.
It's the entire department, right? The entire department? I'm just wondering if we should stand up
The entire
here.
department,
We'll
yes.
stand back here.
Everybody,
Yeah.
yes. Come on up.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Are we going to give them a minute if they wanted to leave, or are they going to stay? Mr. City Manager?
They can leave.
Okay, they have to go back to work. Okay.
Thank you. Back to work.
That's why you're the best. Okay. All right, so the next item, we're moving up the 4th of July discussion to 3A. Mauricio?
Yes, ma'am. So it's a discussion regarding the fireworks display on July 4th, 2026.
Okay, so this was my item, but it might as well be everybody's, because I think we've all had this come up throughout the years. In the past, it's probably every year, our residents have asked for 4th of July fireworks, and we normally do it during the city anniversary, and well, actually, we don't normally do it because it's very cost prohibitive, but we have in the past. This year, being the 250th anniversary of the United States, I thought that we should have that discussion to see if we are, if we want to do it this year for 4th of July. So I'm opening it up to you all to hear your thoughts, but I think at first I wanted to hear from the staff to see what are we looking at as far as price.
I'll let Susan pick it up.
Okay.
I just want to add that if we're going to do this, we absolutely have to know now.
Right.
Because there's companies that there's definitely a deadline.
Right, and I know there's a premium given that
Yes.
a lot of people want to do this. A lot of municipalities want to do this. So please give us the good,
The
bad,
good
and-
news, bad news?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so Jonathan has reached out to several fireworks companies and is trying to get some quotes in time for today. He had one verbal who backed out as of right before this meeting.
Okay.
So as of now, we don't have anybody, but we're looking in the range of $100,000 to $120,000 for a 10-minute show.
And that would be on a barge or off of the pier?
That initial estimate is off of the pier,
And that's assuming we can get somebody.
assuming we could get somebody.
Okay.
So at this meeting, if you could just give us some parameters, and then we can work with Genesis and, see what we can get. Zambelli, one of the biggest ones, is who we've reached out to. That would be our preferred vendor.
Mhm.
They're doing it for the city anniversary in February.
Mhm.
And that one's like $40,000 for a 10-minute show. And we're estimating 3 times more than that
Because of the demand.
because of the day, yes.
Okay,
But they
so-
haven't even responded as being an option at this time.
So right now, this is really just a theoretical
Theoretical.
conversation, okay.
But we would be bringing it to you in February, and we would probably have to ratify it because we'd have to lock something in ASAP if this is the direction.
Okay, I see. From the commission, would anybody like to start? Commissioner Joseph, what do you think?
Well, I know when I lowered the millage rate to 1.7, I had a lot of grief, and there were people writing that the city was going broke because of that. So I just think $110,000 for 10 minutes, even though it might be spectacular, I don't see the value in it.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
So this will be strictly fireworks. We're not gonna have anything else. It'll just be fireworks for people to go out there and obviously enjoy.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
gonna have some sort of setup.
I think that it probably will, I don't know, actually. It would be, the staff is looking for us to give them direction as to what we are kind of thinking, and then they're going to come back to us and say, all right, 10-minute show, this amount of money. If you guys wanted, chairs, refreshments, or whatever. Look, we know that the buildings are going to do fireworks. We know people personally do them. It's not advised, and they don't usually get permits, which is not good. It's not safe. So, and I've been asked this question a lot lately. So I want to make sure that we're aligned as far as what we think. We're not voting on anything, but do we want staff to look into it? Is the question I'm asking.
For me, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
My questions would be, I thought that part of the reason that we didn't allow it and haven't allowed it is because of nesting season and environmental issues. And so I thought that was the primary reason. We don't want to have a bunch of people out there, but you're right, they're out there anyway. And so, and what always frustrated me is if we don't do it because we have environmental reasons for not doing it, but then we're not really enforcing it, I would prefer to see the enforcement side, right? But If we were to consider something like this, because people are out there anyway, I don't like the extra expense, right? That would be a budget issue with, and I have things that we haven't talked about yet, which is all the tax legislation, which was part of my concern in the 1.7 conversation, that we don't know how that's going to be. It's a lot of unknowns. But here's my compromise. Is it possible to move is it fireworks in the birthday? Do we have fireworks for the birthday?
We do have fireworks planned for the birthday,
So
yes.
can we just take that $40,000 one and use it in July, but then not have fireworks for the birthday?
Yes, we could.
So I think, I would want to explore that. I don't want an additional expense, but we already have a big expense for the party. We have concerts, we have the setups, we have other stuff. And we already have a $40,000 value for something that would normally cost $100,000, right? So I would consider that. But I don't love the idea of, I want to look at the environmental piece, because then we might be inviting more people than might normally be there. But then aren't they there during the birthday party? So I just want to make sure that we're not doing something that is going against the reason that we don't do it. Does that make sense?
If I may offer a little more
Okay,
information.
thank you.
Traditionally, the city has not shut off fireworks on the 4th of July specifically, mostly in deference to the police department and their request. Our hotels are full. As you say, there's a lot of issues with noncompliance. Not a single one of them takes off. Everybody's working, including our administrative staff, to keep the city safe on the 4th of July, because a lot of people come for the hotels. With that said, we did speak with chief and assistant chief, and they will make it work if that's what we choose to do this year.
What day of the week does it land?
I think it's on a Saturday.
I think you're right.
July 4th is Saturday.
Okay. So.
Our hotels will be full anyways. Funding, if you give us a ballpark, and I have to correct myself, my apologies, I would have to check and make sure that we're not already committed, that Zambelli would be available July 4th and transfer that $40,000
I would
to a
consider
different
it if the
date.
transfer is possible. And even if we do it on the Sunday, like July 5th instead of July 4th, if it's a conflict because everybody's doing July 4th, it's more than we're doing now. But I am concerned about the environmental factor, but I'm also bothered that there's an environmental factor and there has been minimal enforcement anyway. So then how concerned are we, So we would have to find out if.
Are you
if
referring
we
to
can
the
transfer.
environmental factors to
The
why we moved it
turtles.
to February?
No, what I'm
Oh,
saying is
okay.
I thought that the reason that we don't do it is because of the turtles.
No.
Right,
No.
and so I'm like, but we do the party there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, but we do the party.
Yeah.
So it's a law enforcement issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's law enforcement, it's the cost associated with it. So, my suggestion is to allow staff to look into it and come back to us as soon as possible. But I think you're probably right, the February is probably already locked in. But if it wasn't, I would support that to move those to July 4th. But I would stick to July 4th, Commissioner Viscar, because then July 5th is kind of like, we all know that July 3rd, people are going to be doing it, July 5th, 6th, and people,
I'm just saying if
Right.
they may already be booked, right? I'm just
Right.
saying, like, if the 4th is not possible because we're late to the party,
right, and the 5th is
that's
substantially
all I'm
cheaper.
saying. Yeah, it could
Okay.
be cheaper but I would only support this if we can transfer it. I'm not in support of the extra expense.
All right, but you're supporting of staff looking into it?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Stewison just got it. Let her chime in. We're talking about 4th of July, if you are in support of staff looking into pricing for fireworks.
It's,
Okay.
110,000 for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, they've already said 110,000 for 10 minutes.
No, we're not voting on anything right now. This is,
No,
this
but
is a
the
quote.
proposal was
There's no
an
proposal.
approximate,
There's no proposal.
but it was mentioned that it was 110,000, maybe,
Maybe,
for
right.
10 minutes.
Yes, right now we're having a theoretical conversation if we're interested in looking into
But
it.
if you're asking if someone is interested, you have to give them the full aspect of what we spoke about. So I'm saying it was 110,000 for 10 minutes.
Thank you. Okay. Vice Mayor, did you want to add something?
No,
Okay.
let's look at the budget, let's look at the logistics of it, and then we could have a
And
further
then also,
discussion.
I'd like to say it's an ordinance breaker, because if the city now is going to do fireworks, how do we say we can do it, but it's banned in the city?
Well, we've done fireworks in the past.
Well, I understand, but still, that's another ordinance that we have that we don't enforce.
No, permitted fireworks are permitted fireworks. So for example, the Trump International Beaches, or the Trump Hotel, Aquilina, they've gotten permits for fireworks in the past. I think some might even be upcoming of doing their own fireworks. As long as you permit it through the fire department, it is permitted.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Do you have enough, Mr. City Manager? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next item, please.
Next item is 3A, discussion regarding social media policy for elected officials.
Okay. Mr. City Manager?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, at one of our recent meetings, you had directed us to go back and work up a draft for social media policy. So we have done that, and we have, with the addition of Ben and our team, I'm going to ask him to come up and just present an overview of the policy, and we're happy to answer any questions or accept your feedback.
Great. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is my first time presenting, actually. Ben Hogarth, for the record, from the City Manager's Office. The social media policies came about as a result of a couple discussions from the Commission a few months ago, if you remember. And staff kind of sat down to talk in length about all the difficult legal hurdles that we have with any social media policy. And this is something that, of course, attorneys and policymakers have been dealing with for many decades now. So social media policy in front of you is strictly related to the Commission, how the Commission operates, but also we ended up addressing in there kind of how staff handle the actual official city accounts. So whether that's Facebook, Twitter, or X now, Instagram. So we've set in policies that are pretty much standard best management
TikTok?
practices.
TikTok as well?
Oh, I don't think we actually partake in TikTok, if I remember correctly. But
You have to address the younger people.
there are, I mean, a potential infinite array amount of social media in the future that could come as well, and it's very, very difficult to kind of put all of that into a policy, especially because from an enforcement perspective, each one of you have First Amendment rights, and that needs to be protected as well in the policy. And so it's difficult, and we use some examples in the definitions in the draft between what is a personal account, like a private account, what is a elected official account per se, campaign accounts as well, which have their own slew of laws that are regulated. And then, of course, the official city accounts that staff manage on behalf of the city. And so I don't know if there are any particular questions regarding any specific item in the policy draft itself. I can talk in specifics if there are questions. What I can tell you is that the policy addresses most of the potential case scenarios that could come up, and we've done our best to make it as applicable to the legal standards and the best management practices that we know. But if there are any specific questions, we're happy to answer.
So the policies was taken from best practices that are consistent with what other municipalities are doing? Where did you get the guidelines?
There's nationwide even guidelines.
Okay.
So it's mostly from attorneys because they've been dealing with this in local, state, and federal government now for at least 2 decades, with social media kind of taking over a lot of the First Amendment type discussions and written discussions in particular. But also this applies to video, this applies to audio recordings. So we've done our best to try and take the sunshine laws and the statutes that you're all very familiar with, but apply it here. And I know there have been instances in the past and examples that have been used. And one thing I want to bring up is, like, for example, the city seal and the logo is, when is it appropriate for a seal or logo to be used in any kind of post or any kind of publication? Well, obviously the city does it for all of our posts and our publications. That's normal. What about the average person? What if I wanted to do it as an employee? Well, using it, as something official might not be appropriate or might in fact be illegal. But if I'm taking a secondhand post from the city and I'm recopying that or I'm sharing it with friends, well, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not taking the seal and putting my own item attached to it, right? So there's these different standards and different difficult questions and instances that can come up, and the social media policy is basically trying to provide as best as we can the guidelines for it. And so it's not perfect. The intent is to provide the best management practices, and so that there's this consistency for all the commissioners. And the only thing I can liken it to is like an ethics policy, right? The voters hold the elected officials accountable, but an ethics policy is really designed to kind of at a local level provide those guidelines, the framework for commissioners to kind of hold themselves as a board accountable to each other. So I kind of want to set that as the caveat to what this policy is. This is not city staff holding commissioners accountable. This isn't anyone coming in from the outside and holding commissioners accountable directly on any one instance. This is the board's idea of what a social media policy is. And so the draft framework is open to every kind of revision you're looking for, everything from just standard policies and guidelines all the way to even enforcement. So we're open to all of that, and I hope that best explains kind of what this is in general.
So let me ask you a question as far as right now our policy with staff. So our staff wear uniforms that have the seal and have their name. So if they are, they leave work and there's someplace where there's a picture taken of them and they're at a private event, we don't have an issue with that, correct?
Correct.
Is that the policy?
We have policies and procedures regarding that, yes. And it all depends upon, the context and the use of it.
Well, I'm saying, would it be consistent with what the commission, so the commission, there's those of us that have, shirts that have the seal as well on them, and we go to various events wearing that seal. We may or may not be representing the city at that event. Does that go against the policy?
If I may, so
Sure.
you passed an ordinance last year, I believe, with regards to the use of the seal and the city logo and so on and so forth, which have since been trademarked and everything else. So you have a separate policy on that. This deals solely with social media. To the manager's point, though, with the scenario, the question you presented, it's very fact specific. Every situation is a bit different. We try to, from a policy standpoint, to kind of clump everything together, but there's always exceptions and outliers. So.
Right, no, of course. Let me be more specific. So if I'm wearing my city shirt, or a shirt that has the emblem on it, and I'm at an event that's not a city event, let's say I went to someplace in Evansville or wherever, and I'm wearing that, is that against the policy? If it's
again, it depends on the event, but I mean, again, it depends. You're the mayor, so there may be a factor there too. I mean,
All right,
generally
vice
for a
mayor
mayor
then.
or a commissioner, it wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
But if you're going to Publix to do some shopping, no. But if you're going to some seedy place, yeah, there may be an issue there. So it's very fact specific.
Okay.
You use common sense.
It's common sense. All right.
Common sense comes into play a great
All
deal.
right, I'm just wondering, do we all have to have an additional shirt in our car? That's my question.
It depends what you're going to be doing.
Okay. All right. That's the only
But from a
question.
social media standpoint, though, to Ben's point, a replication of something that's been issued by the city with the seal or with the logo wouldn't be a violation, because it's something that's already out there in the public. You're just republishing it. So if you forward something on Facebook or you forward something on
Right.
Instagram, something like that, that's not a violation.
If we forward something on our social media that's from the city, does that become public record?
Well, it's public record to begin with because you have it. In and of itself, it's a public record.
No, I mean, if it's posted on our social media and someone responds to it, does
Yes,
that
so
comment?
that's where, if you look at the policy, there's demarcations as to the different types of legally, there's three things you need to worry about. Ben alluded to it: First Amendment, sunshine, and public records. So if we take, for example, your private page, solely private, family, friends, nothing else, no city relation, it's fine, not a problem. But if you start posting city-related items on your private page, the Supreme Court dealt with this in 2023. It very likely now has become a limited public forum. So that brings in First Amendment, where you can't necessarily block people that are commenting on that. You may be subject to sunshine, where you have to retain those particular posts. I'm sorry, public records, where you have to retain those particular posts. And then sunshine issues to the extent that one of your fellow elected officials may comment on it, and then there's a back and forth. That would be a sunshine issue. So those are the things you need to consider. If you have a wholly dedicated public page for yourself, that obviously is subject to all three: First Amendment, public records, sunshine. So the clear demarcations is, I guess, the most important thing. Is it unlawful for you to post something city-related on your private page? Absolutely not. But you subject yourself to all these further restrictions where, in the case that went to the Supreme Court, it was a city manager, actually, that started doing that on his private page, posting things about the city, and he decided to block someone from commenting because he didn't agree with this particular person. That person went all the way to the Supreme Court and prevailed because that page had been converted to a limited public forum, and this person was being denied the opportunity under the First Amendment to comment on something of a public nature. So you just have to be careful on your private pages.
Does that become a liability for the city or for that person?
It can, depending on the circumstances. You should always assume that whatever attorney is going to pick up that case is going to throw the city in just for good
Right.
measure. So whether at the end of the day, whether that prevails or not, it depends on the facts and circumstances, but yes.
Okay. This is a discussion item, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I have a question. So on page 4, under campaign political social media accounts and pages, it says under A, campaign accounts should never be commingled, parentheses, or combined with elected official accounts. So the way I'm envisioning this is, let's say you have elected official A, and they're up for re-election, and they're running. They cannot post any, let's say they have a meet and greet, they cannot post about that meet and greet in their official, elected official social media page or account, correct?
I believe that's correct. I would defer to Alan on, because when we get into the campaign accounts, we have to be a little bit careful. It's not just public records accounts, it's also campaign finance law and ethics laws and everything else.
Right, you can't, and the city can't be involved in your campaign, right? Just as you can't campaign here on City Hall grounds or use City Hall postage or City Hall envelopes or whatever, to use for campaign, it's the same thing. So your campaign page is fully dedicated to your campaign. You can't have a link at the bottom that takes you to your official page and vice versa. It has to be wholly separate. You can, of course, mention that you're an elected official and you're with city hours and all of that, but you don't want to have connectivity between your official page as a commissioner or the city page itself and your campaign page. It has to be solely separate.
What defines an official page? Let's say I go to Facebook and open up my page as Vice Mayor Alex, I'm a Vice Mayor of Sunny Isles
Right.
Beach.
It's
It's
how
not
you
controlled
treat
by the city, though. It's
No,
controlled
but that
by-
would be your
But it
official
is
page.
already, okay.
Right,
that'll be
because
my
you're
official
representing
page.
yourself. This is
Okay.
the page of, certain cities that have districts will have it like District 1, District 2 page where it's the commissioner. But yes, it would be your page. You're dedicating that page yourself to city-related items. So if someone wants to know what Vice Mayor Lama thinks about an issue, they go to that page.
Okay. And, okay, and then from a personal social media accounts, when is it okay, and I know you said this before, but when is it okay for me to block someone if they are using threatening language or bad language?
If it's that's a subset of all three, essentially. So On your private, you can do what you want. You're not a city commissioner on your private. You are, pardon the reference,
Yeah.
but you're Alex Lama. That's
Yeah.
it, right? So you're a private citizen there. There's nothing city-related. On your official, I'll call it official individual page,
Yeah.
certainly there's certain, and we have it in the policy, so if somebody's threatening, if somebody is using, very racial charged insults, things of that sort, there's certain things that you can obviously remove. If it's spam with regards to please buy these pillows or something, that's completely unrelated to the post that you've had, those things can be removed. And you can always check with me or with management, if you're not sure, get a second opinion on it. But those things can be certainly threats. Some things get to a point of harassment, but that's a fine line. You always want to have somebody check that so you can have sort of a little bit of protection there. If somebody accuses you of deleting something that you shouldn't have, you can always go back to say, well, I consulted with the city attorney, I consulted with this other person to make sure another set of eyes had taken a look at it.
And the reference to that's on section, or page 6 at the bottom of page 6 for that section, yeah.
I have a question. So let's say on my commissioner page, I have my private and I have the commissioner page, and I repost a city thing, okay? But nobody comments on it, nobody likes it, it just sits there. Can I delete that?
I wouldn't, again, that's.
I know I should, I mean,
speculation.
I wouldn't either, but
I
I'm just
wouldn't.
thinking,
I wouldn't delete it.
so once posted, it's forever.
Yeah.
Like, it
Well,
should be
that should
in
be
your
a
official
rule
page. Okay.
generally that you use on social media. Once it's posted, even if you delete it, there's ways to get to it.
No, I know, I'm just saying, oh, okay, you know what, this wasn't very interesting after all, let me just clean up my page. But like, once you post it as a public person, it's there forever, like it should be.
That would be the
Okay.
best practice. It's just, it's risky to do otherwise, because then somebody, if the page is cached someplace and somebody gets a hold of it because they know what they're doing, and they say, oh, Commissioner Viscara, she posted this, but she took it down 2
Yes,
days
you could
later.
take a screenshot of it.
Right,
And I
so-
think an interesting hypothetical is with the campaign accounts, and I use this as a good example, as a reminder for myself. If you're running a campaign account, and you're sticking to the campaign account, you actually, through the case law that's been provided, you have the ability to block, to delete comments, because you're protecting your own First Amendment right to proclaim your message on your campaign account. There's an interesting thing, though, where if you post, like from an official authoritative perspective, from your, like let's say you're an incumbent running for office again, and you post on your campaign account something to do with an act or official, you're projecting your authority on that account, it's possible that the courts could find that you're acting in official capacity and now subject the entire account as an official account, and now you can't delete and you can't block people. So it's interesting how the cases have gone before the courts, and an account can start as one thing and form to something else. So you have to be very, very careful. And a lot of the policy tries to guide you in a direction where that never happens. And that's part of like the best practices that have kind of come about over the years. And what we've put into the policy is to help steer you away from kind of falling into those pitfalls.
Yeah, it's very hard to encapsulate all the scenarios, because to Ben's point, if you're an incumbent, it's a little different than if you're a candidate that's just starting out, right? Because you're not yet a public figure. You are becoming one, but there's different things that are going to apply to you as an incumbent, because it's very difficult to take off the hat and are you really acting as a candidate or are you acting as an incumbent? So it gets murky.
Okay. My only other comment is that as I was reading it sometimes it was, I'm just in the nitpicky sense, right, that it would refer to the commission, not the commission, like the commissioner. So I thought if people reading it might say, well, what, doesn't that apply to the vice mayor and the mayor, right? Because you're just saying commissioner. So I would just clean up like one at the top of it, like here and after referred to as, and then use the terms so that it's clear that it applies to all of us, and that, the vice mayor is not, included or whatever.
Okay.
So no one's exempted.
No, it's not. And the one thing I will point out, I think that's interesting, is the mayor has a unique role under the charter, and so I'll try to find the page for you really quick. During emergencies, I just want to point it out so that you will see this is the only unique circumstance in which the mayor has a little bit of an additional role, even from a social media perspective, with emergency messaging. So if we post something, and most likely would, with trying to reach people during emergency, it's actually the mayor and the city manager and their designee that does the emergency messaging during an emergency. So that is the one caveat. I felt like it's important to just kind of put that out there as a disclaimer, but everything else, yes, it's uniform and equal throughout.
Any other questions or comments, Commissioner
Nope.
Stewart?
I'm perfect with it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item?
So this will come before you. Do we need to bring this back to them in February for any kind of resolution?
It typically, you want to formalize it through resolution. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Next item is 3B, discussion regarding the scooter safety improvement community outreach update.
Okay,
Okay.
who's up? Mr. City Manager? Now we have a report.
Susan.
Go ahead.
Susan's going to review
Deputy
the
Manager,
results.
Deputy.
floor is yours.
Thank you. As you know, we did a lot of outreach. Julio would love to be here to be able to present this himself, but he is actually at a educational event. So you have us. If you could please switch to the next slide. So we did the survey. The survey results are posted. We had a total of 1,874 participants in the survey.
Not a lot.
Scooter usage by the respondents, of the people who responded to the survey, 73% did not own a scooter and 26 did. And of those 26% did, 70% of those were registered. So that's good to know that our registration process is working significantly for those who actually own a scooter. Next slide, please.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So we've been now in the process of registering for how long?
A little over a year.
Okay. And we still have 30% unregistered.
That's 30% of the respondents to our survey.
Okay, so how do you extrapolate that to the overall usage?
I would have to know how many scooter owners there are in the city, and I do not
We
have
don't have an
a
idea?
hard number on that. I do not. I'm sorry.
Right, okay. But from the school, we know how many students are coming to school by scooter or no?
I do not know how many are coming from going to school on a scooter, but I can tell you that Ben pulled up some pedestrian bridge stats for us, and in November of 2025, we had 106,500 scooter trips over the pedestrian bridge.
Right. And
Over the course of what time?
That's 1 month, for the month of November.
and how many incidents have we had on the bridge? Any
On the bridge, I'm not aware of any.
of near misses or people being hit? No?
Of things that have been reported to us, on the
Yes.
bridge, I'm not aware of any.
Okay,
I can find out for you. I can confirm that.
please.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Just a little bit more about the survey, which we had already gone over before, but the minimum, we had thrown out some options in the survey. 81% supported a minimum age requirement. The most common suggested age was 16 years old.
Okay. That's totally unenforceable. You can't tell the difference between a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Commissioner
glad-
Joseph, just let Deputy Manager finish and then we'll add our comments.
Government issued ID required, 72% supported that. A ban from sidewalks, 64% supported that. A complete ban from the city, only 37% supported that. Key finding was that majority opposed complete ban, suggesting preference to regulation over prohibition. The majority do not want a complete ban. They'd rather see us regulate it better. Mandatory safety course as an option was 80% was in favor. Next slide, please. So in summary, Next slide, please. Okay. So we don't have support for a total ban. So we are.
We have
and-
we have support for a total ban on the sidewalks. On the
Correct.
inner sidewalks.
I'm
we have
talking about
total
a,
ban.
a total ban in the city.
On the
Hol-
sidewalks.
Hold on, we're going to do one at a time. Commissioner Joseph, let the deputy manager finish, and then we'll take turns. Go
Okay.
ahead.
We do not have majority support for a total ban of scooters in the city. We also have several logistical challenges with that. People coming in and out of the city from other jurisdictions, enforcement, if we're banning them, we're confiscating them somehow, storage. There's a lot of logistical issues with a total ban. As it relates to some other regulations like the government issued ID, minimum age, and even to an extent the sidewalk ban, there is logistical challenges with that. Again, some of the same as a total ban, the jurisdiction, enforcement, where we're storing things, collection of fines. We can give you some examples if that's not very clear, but you pull over someone and they give you a fake name. There's some challenges with that. So after all of this, and we did a lot of research as to what other cities are doing in Miami-Dade County around our area. So some options for consideration is to increase the fines to encourage compliance, limit the speed on sidewalks on interior roads. This would be similar to what Aventura is trying, and we would suggest giving it a little time to see how Aventura is enforcing that so that we could try to implement the same thing. Increase educational outreach to encourage safe and responsible use of scooters, and an infrastructure project of adding bike scooter lanes on interior streets where possible. So I know one of the biggest concerns that even Commissioner Joseph has brought up is that between the bridge and the school on North Bay Road. So we have potential to have a dedicated bike scooter lane along North Bay Road. So we're working with an engineer to bring you something that
In
you
the
could
street?
consider for that. Yes, but it would be a dedicated lane. So there would be some dividers, whether it's, some people call them an armadillo. They're almost like little mini speed humps that separate the lanes. Or it could be completely raised or separate, but it depends on how much space we have. Likely, we would have to lose some trees for that.
All right, you're done?
I am.
All right,
you.
thank
So
you,
then we
thank
would
you very
also
much.
lose sidewalk.
Hold on, Commissioner Joseph. So the input is finished. There's no more
Yes.
public comment. There's no much public input. It's
Correct.
completely done. All right, so just one question before I give Commissioner Joseph the floor. With the respondents, is that total number of respondents or responses?
Responses,
So one person could have responded multiple times.
if they used a different IP address.
So it's based on IP addresses. I just wanted
Yes.
to get clarification on that.
Yes, and the survey system that we used did weed out things that they considered suspicious. So if it was the exact same, answer that was like a fill in the blank question,
I see.
they would
Okay.
weed through those.
All right, thank you. You have the floor, Commissioner Joseph.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So I know from speaking with the chief, we spend numerous man hours now on the scooters,
Yes, sir.
more than we would like to, I would imagine, like a lot of cities do, like Key Biscayne was doing, even though the chief, prior to their banning of the scooters, the chief thought that they should continue to allow for the scooters and do more enforcement. But they were just overwhelmed with the man hours, not allowing them to do other important police issues. I still believe that we should, for the safety of the residents, it's important to have a ban in the city for the scooters. Either way, there's an enforcement issue. And I believe it would be less of an issue for our police department if there was a ban, as opposed to trying to have an age restriction or having to have a permit, and then you have the rider not having the permit with them. It's just so many man-hours that we're losing over the scooters. Have we looked in, I know Key Biscayne is a closed community, but we also, and if we can get FDOT to come on board to allow us to ban the scooters on Collins, because I've just seen, just driving back and forth on Collins, how it's just so crazy. And now with TikTok, these crazy games they have where kids have a contest to see how close you can come to a person walking without actually touching them. It's just so insane. We have just one accident for an elderly person, and even younger people we've had knocked down that have been severely injured. That just ruins their life. And I don't believe that there's enough of a benefit for people with scooters to take into account the damage that we're doing over time to our residents.
So we have reached out to FDOT, but that is our biggest challenge, is that we can't enforce it on Collins Avenue. So it would be very logistically difficult
So then we
to
have
say
to
you're
do it
walking
through the
it
state
interior.
to
826,
override
yes.
them.
Well,
And that would be something I would work for.
okay.
Commissioner Jewison? Vice Mayor?
So, for one thing, I understand that we cannot ban scooters. That's up to the state. The state will not allow us to ban scooters.
How did Key Biscayne do it?
Yeah, but I don't think it's enforceable. I think you still have people riding scooters there. Yeah.
You can ban them,
Mhm.
but the issue comes down to that's presupposing people will listen to you, and you have a lot of transient folks using it here. So it becomes, you can ban them, but what do you do if somebody's riding a scooter?
So they get a fine,
Right,
a
and then,
large fine.
But this, so it was my understanding that the state doesn't, the state is the one that regulates that. And
No.
the state,
you can regulate it in your cities, and that's why Key Biscayne had to go through some extra steps because, well, they had to go to the legislature, but they also had to go through Dade County because that road was controlled by Dade County. Here, your major thoroughfare is controlled by the state. So what becomes difficult is you can't have an outright ban technically in the city because that Collins Avenue is part of your city and you don't control that road. So for you to have a complete ban, you'd have to have FDOT on board. But from a standpoint of the law doesn't preempt you from banning them on sidewalks or banning them altogether. But here you have a unique situation. One, because you have a lot of scooters, and two, you have Collins Avenue. And then to the extent you have county roads, I think 163rd is county.
826 and William Lehman is actually federal.
Right, so you have to have those partners on board with you.
William Lehman is federal road, I believe.
so, so basically we could ban them in our internal streets. I mean, North Bay Road, the pedestrian bridge, and so on and so forth.
You could.
Okay.
I'd like to remind
And
you,
then-
though, 70% of your community that participated in the survey do
I
not
understand.
agree.
I'm aware of that. So then the other issue I have also is that, okay, so let's say we do impose an age restriction. A lot of these kids don't have an ID. I mean, how do we confirm what their age is?
Exactly.
I
And
mean,
that's,
it sounds good on paper, but then,
that's what kind of why the state kind of kicked the can down the road. They said, fine, you guys can figure it out, but we're not going to regulate that on our own. And to the commissioner's point, it's very difficult for one of our officers to look at somebody. I've seen 15-year-olds that look like they're 12. I've seen 17-year-olds that look like they're 13, or vice versa. I've seen, my son's 14 and he looks like he's 25. So it's very hard for an officer at that standpoint to be able to determine the age. And then again, to your point, they don't necessarily have ID at that point.
And I wouldn't ask to put them in that position in any event.
and then the other issue I have, which, I mean, to me is nowadays you have these motorized vehicles, whether it's a scooter, you have these electrical, basically motocrosses that, they're doing wheelies all throughout the city. And how come they're not required to have a driver's license?
Well, they are, well, depend, and I could defer to law enforcement, and I don't have the statute in front of me. Those are regulated separately. So depending on the CCs of a particular engine, even if it's an electric engine, those bikes that you see that go really fast, and all those, there's certain, once you get to a point where they have to be licensed, they have to be, you have to have a license to operate them, you have to have registration. So those are regulated through separate statute.
There
So
are
can we
also
do
several
something
models
about-
that are illegal.
So can we do something about
The
that?
state does, I mean, the state regulates.
What can we do to enforce something where we see a 12-year-old kid, that, they have these motocross?
If it's against state law, then
Then we have
our law
the right
enforcement
to-
can enforce
It's
state law.
already,
Okay.
it's already
It's
on.
already
So let's
prohibited.
enforce it. I mean, I like to start there.
My understanding is that they do.
You do?
Okay.
Okay, because I still see them around and doing wheelies, and there's like a little click going around that. Yeah, if you could come up, yeah. Yeah, please. Yeah, I like to
Yeah.
understand that because,
Thank you, Chief.
yeah.
Sergeant
Thank you.
Hernandez is
Thank you.
our scooter whisperer.
Yeah.
Okay, he's done a lot of research and he's done a lot of enforcement, and we probably towed about over a dozen of those bikes that you're talking about.
Okay,
So,
great.
So, please,
All right, so with the e-bikes, bicycles,
Yeah.
there's 3 classifications. They cannot be over 750 watts in power. They're supposed to have a label that says whether it's a Class 1, Class 2, or Class 3. There are differences between Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 as to the way they operate and their maximum speeds. For it to be considered an electric bicycle, it must have functioning pedals. What you're talking about are e-motos. They do not have pedals. They are essentially electric motorcycles, much like a Tesla is an electric car. They're dirt bikes of the 21st century, and that's what we're dealing with. The biggest problem that we're encountering with enforcing them is these kids flee from us. We're not chasing them for traffic. We have confiscated and cited well over a dozen. We call tow trucks out. They come, they take them, they tow them just as they would a car. I'm hesitant to write 12-year-olds criminal citations for operating unregistered motor vehicles, unregistered, or being unlicensed, because those are criminal citations that you're dropping on a 12-year-old. We have kind of agreed to do a lot of education when education is possible and tow the vehicles. We try to get the parents out when we can. Some of those e-motos you're talking about go in excess of 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And they're very, very maneuverable.
let me ask you a question to your point about the citations. And is that something under Florida law that you can actually cite the parent? Or as far as criminal?
You could cite the parents for allowing a unlicensed driver to operate a motor vehicle. The problem is with those, it comes down to a lot of education. The parents don't know they're illegal. They think they're buying their kids electric e-bikes. They don't do the research, so they're not even, there's no intent on the parent. We've had very good support from the parents that we've gotten. I can tell you that a lot of the kids that we've taken them from, the parents have sold the bikes. We're not seeing as many of the e-motos on the street than we were. We do get them coming through from Hollywood, Hallandale, Val Harbor. I stopped a 12-year-old on one from south of the Broad Causeway, on one driving up Collins Avenue.
Wow.
We did take his bike was towed. His parents came to get him. Again, he was like, I think 11 or 12. I did not, we didn't charge him criminally for operating an unregistered vehicle and having no driver's license, et cetera. But he's Bay Harbor's problem. I don't know what his parents did beyond that. Our residents that we've taken them from, most have complied and gotten rid of the bikes. And
Right,
I see
but-
the kids on actual bicycles, like electric bicycles now.
But ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Oh, no, not
obviously,
at all.
Right, so, okay. But you think it's better with, what are we calling them?
E-bikes.
What?
No, the motorcycles, what are,
They're dirt bikes.
dirt, the
If
motorized.
you look at the manufacturer pages, they'll all say they're not for street usage, they're not legal for street.
So for you believe that's getting better?
Oh, yes.
Okay, but the motorized scooters are still,
The scooters have gotten a lot better
the scooters have gotten better as well.
as far as kids wearing helmets, scooters being registered, things like that. We are seeing a lot more compliance.
Okay.
I've stopped a few this week that have no registration. It was a Christmas gift. We're working on it,
Right.
kind of thing. But and you can tell they're new. For the most part, I mean, I think one kid that I was dealing with yesterday, I looked at his registration number. It was like 1165, and I assume they started at 0 and are going up. So I mean, that's over 1,000 scooters that are registered.
I personally logged on my phone and helped somebody register on the side of the road. Just he didn't know, and I
Okay.
actually went on and helped
Yeah.
him register right there on the spot. So.
Well, I mean, Mr. City Manager, if I may, I mean, since we have them in front of us, you all are the people that are going to be enforcing anything that we decide. I would like to know what your recommendation is based on, you know, is it consistent with what we found?
We've had a lot of discussion about this, and the challenge is to enforce scooter regulations, including the ban. So I think at this point, we're still gathering data. I think we've had great success in registering the scooters, and we've been proactive, as you know, over this past year or more, not only registering, but issuing citations. You've heard that we've impounded some of these issues especially for repeats. In terms of going forward, what we've come up with is we think two things. One, we would like to increase the fines or the penalties. We've had
To a
some,
large degree.
we've had some success with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we would like to we'd like to bring back a revision to that ordinance to increase the fines from the civil side. And then we would like to, with our engineer, bring you some sketches for what the deputy manager mentioned in trying to relegate at least some where we can to a certain side of the street or sidewalk or area. So that's our recommendation.
That would be on North Bay Road only, or would that include all the interior roads?
Currently, we're working on North Bay Road from the pedestrian 174th to 183. We would then look at from North Bay Road from 172 to 163rd Street.
Okay. How
And-
about Golden Shores?
Golden Shores, you have no sidewalks, it's difficult. That's almost an impossibility.
We are still hoping to one day build the urban trail
Right.
that would move people north and south
Okay.
along there, but we can look at that area as well.
Chief.
I just wanted to add one thing, and this is with all your support. I honestly can say in all of Dade County and probably Broward County that we have pioneered in the enforcement on scooters. Nobody else has done what we have done so far, and he can attest to that.
Yeah.
I would
I
definitely
know
agree.
based on how much people love you.
And I talk to a lot of the kids that I do stop that are coming from Hallandale, Hollywood. They don't care. The cops up there, they get zero enforcement. We unfortunately get the transients that are coming through because they have ties to Sunny Isles, Ren MB or whatever. I stopped a kid the other day on an E-moto from 106, whatever the new condos are, at 165th and Biscayne. His mom came and she was unaware that it was illegal. Like I said, none of the other cities do anything. Where I live, we see them all over the place with zero enforcement.
Okay. Please, Commissioner
Yes.
Joseph.
So how many we're wasting a lot of man hours on scooters, correct? That
I mean,
our officers could be doing other things?
Could be doing other things, but I wouldn't say wasting because it's
Well,
it's public
okay,
safety, so-
spending numerous man hours, correct?
And it's part of everyday enforcement.
Right.
You know, as things evolve, you have different things that you have to focus on.
Yes.
This happens to be an issue within the city, and it's part of our patrol function.
Right.
We see it, we address it.
Yes.
I don't even know how to quantify how many hours. It's just, you're just out there doing
Yeah,
work.
endless number. Yeah. So I've also been told that when someone has been hit by a scooter and they come in to make a report to the police department, they're deterred and they're told that it's civil. How often does that occur?
Someone hit by a scooter, how? Like a pedestrian?
Yes, a pedestrian.
Okay. Scooters are regulated like bicycles. as of right now. There's maybe legislation in Tallahassee that changes that, but as of right now, the stand-up electric scooters are governed like bicycles. If they're on the sidewalk, they're considered a pedestrian.
Right.
Honestly, it would be no different than if someone is running really, really fast and runs into a pedestrian that walks in their way legally. Could you sue that kid's parents? Could you sue, if it's an adult, could you sue them civilly? Yes. It's not a traffic crash by statutory definition.
Okay, so I foiled, and I got no incident reports because people are told we won't take the report, right? That's what's happening?
No,
I've never heard of anybody
Well-
refusing to take a report.
But you're telling people it's civil, right?
No, we're telling them that it's not a crash.
yeah, it's not a crash.
Yeah.
A lot of them get reported as sick or injured,
Yeah,
people.
or information.
which would be no different than if a kid is riding a scooter or an adult is riding a scooter and loses their balance and falls. If they want to report that, we will. It's not a traffic crash. It's like if someone falls from a bicycle.
Right. It would be hard to actually find because there's not a report titled scooter crash. So it's in the narrative, and it's impossible to search every sick or injured or information report by a narrative.
All right, so do you have an idea how many instances we've had
I don't.
of people being injured by scooters or e-bikes?
I've never been
on
approached
our
by anyone
streets?
that said they were hit by one.
Yeah.
No?
Personally. I have not. I get a lot of, they zip by you.
I know
they-
several myself that have gone in to make reports, and they've been denied the report, saying you have to just take it to court.
That's true, as in take it to court. It is civil. I wouldn't necessarily deny the report again. So,
If someone comes in and says that they were pushed and they would like to make a report,
We'll write it.
yeah, if they want it documented,
Right.
we don't deny documenting a
Okay.
report, so. But it'll be documented under information or
Right.
a different title. It's not a crime, it's not an accident.
but if it was intentional,
That's
Well, then
different.
that's criminal.
different.
Okay.
It's crime.
Well, I don't know. I had an intentional attack at Aventura Library last year, and nothing ever occurred with it. So,
I'll refer you to the Aventura Police Department.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions? of the
Yes,
chief? Go ahead, please.
In terms of pioneering, so this is what I was thinking. Since there is support for the ID and age limit, right? We can always, if you're 16 years old, you're in 9th or 10th grade, at least. So if you see a bunch of kids going to our school on North Bay Road at 8:30 in the morning, guess what? They're not 16. I know it's hard to tell, but if they're going to this school, they don't meet the age requirement. So that makes it easy to spot. And it makes enforcement easy, at least at 8:20 in the morning. Maybe we can't enforce it throughout the day, but if you hit them not hit them, but with enforcement, at 8:20 in the morning and at 3:20 in the afternoon, we might see a significant reduction. But I've always said that this is in part also a parenting issue, and as long as parents keep buying, and then that's where the educational part comes in. But we may want to try the age and ID part, because those kids are not going to have it at 8:20 in the morning on North Bay Road.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just
You're
food for
talking about
thought.
an age ban?
Well, if we make it that you have to be 16 years old and you have to have an
That's
ID.
effectively a ban.
Yeah.
Well, right. I mean, I don't call it a ban, but it's a regulation. It would, that the kids going to our school are not that age. So
Right.
I'm just saying it would make that enforcement piece easier at 8:20 in the morning. And if all you do is enforce at 8:20 in the morning and not in the rest of the day, still, I think you would see an impact.
When I say a ban, at that point, anybody on a scooter going to the school would be in violation.
That's right. Unless it's a parent with a kid and
Right.
has 3 kids on the scooter, and that's a different issue.
Right.
But yes. All right, that was just my thought.
Okay.
So-
Wait, let me just, if Commissioner Susan has anything?
No, just the timeline, when is something gonna come to us for some regulations?
Yes. We just seem to be kicking the can down the road, so we need to really get together and do something comprehensive at some point, very soon.
Mr. City Manager, what is the proposed increase to the fine? Is there one?
Would be up to $250.
Can we make it
Um,
500?
Well, yeah, we have to look at, I don't know about the state, I mean, obviously, to the extent there's a state charge that's regulated by the state, we're capped at 500 under Chapter 162, so that would be the maximum. I think we currently have, I don't know if we have it as the maximum in there now, but we're capped at 500. Usually it's a graduated schedule. First offense, it's tough to go to 500, but that would be the cap.
State statute or Dade County fines for statutory violations of bicycles it's $77.50.
For bicycles, it's $77.50.
Bicycle violations are $77.50.
And that's for helmets?
That's for helmets, riding multiple people on a bicycle, running a stop sign on a bicycle, red light on a bicycle, or a scooter, $77.50.
Yeah, the 500 correlates to a violation of our ordinance, which falls under 162, so it's through Chapter 14. But, right, there would be, if it's charged under different statutes or other ordinances, then those caps would apply.
Well, if it's a $77 fine, we're not going to accomplish anything because people will pay that and then, time after time. So the thing is to try to stop the repeat offenders.
Commissioner Stuyvesant?
Yeah, I have so the only thing that is coming to us is going to be the increase in the fine, nothing else.
Unless you all direct us differently, right now our recommendation would be two things: to increase the fine and then also delineate where we can kind of a scooter or bike lane.
Well, we should be doing something with the age. Like Doral just did it as well last year, and it's been very successful. I will not support anything if it doesn't have an age restriction, which is a real solution to the issue.
Okay, so, okay to speak?
Please, go ahead.
Okay, so what Commissioner Viscara mentioned regarding the being able, if we make the age 16 and then we are able to approach the kids that are using the scooters to go to school, that makes, I don't want to put any burden on our police department that is not enforceable and just cost you more man hours, and just is not logical. So if you were going to be able to go after younger kids who they're not 16 and going to Edel Cup school, then that gives you a complete, that's basically a ban on the scooters that are being used currently for going to school. And my goal is to make our sidewalks safe for the residents. I know right now I can't do anything about Collins, but certainly on our inside streets where we have sidewalks, and 70% of our residents want them banned from the sidewalks. And I'm all for the residents. So, and the city manager and the assistant city manager, we have to adhere to the majority of our residents, to what they want. And I know for myself, people have been injured. I've seen blood on their bodies, from being knocked down and severely injured, whether there's a police report or not. I know there are many people throughout the city that have been hit by these vehicles. And it's time for us to, not like we've done with, our flooding issues, we need to, make a stand right now on these scooters.
I totally agree, because we've been in this process for years now, and also the solution cannot be just give us more money. And that's not what you're proposing, by the way, okay? So it's not about you guys. That's not the solution. We need to have real solutions. And to your point, anybody over 16 years old can use it, so if they're going to volleyball practice or whatever, they will continue using it. But we need to have a real serious solution. And just to ask for more money of the people that we're going to be getting caught, is not a real solution. Plus, we are taking the determination based on whoever participated in the surveys, etc. However, I went to I think both of the meetings that we had in Gateway when the people was engaging, and it was like a 99 one issue. So everyone who showed up was in favor of having like real solution, and it wasn't about the money. It was about safety. So right now, just getting money from the parents, it will not bring, I don't think it will make any difference to what's happening. And like Commissioner Joseph says, I have seen also the injuries of the people, especially the elderly, who has gotten hit by the children or whoever riding these vehicles. So like I said, we waste a lot of time. Did we also engage any consultants in this?
We did not.
In-house? Okay, everything was in-house, good. So at least that. So we need real solutions, and asking for money is not a solution.
May I?
Please,
Yeah.
go ahead, Vice Mayor.
So I think the key to this is to maintain the scooter and the e-bike riders separated from the pedestrians. So obviously the geography of the city will allow us in certain parts of the city, you know, with the streets, obviously North Bay Road, on the part of the sidewalk which is wider. So I would love to see that sketch, and then I would like to hear what your recommendations are. You know, what do you think? Because you're out there every day. You're the ones that are engaging. You're seeing the scooters going by a lot more than us. You know, you're out there on the streets. That's your job. So I would like to see what your opinions and observations and suggestions are on how we could probably implement a structural delineation where we keep these pedestrians and these riders as separated as possible. So that's basically what I would like to see. As far as fines, I think that, you know, if you have repeat offenders, I think there's got to be consequences. You know, if they do not abide by certain rules which are designed to keep our residents safe, then they will have to pay. I mean, you know, I think we've been lenient. You know, we give them warnings. Then there's fines, obviously. But if you do have repeat offenders, we could structure the ordinance in a way where, you know, if you're on your fourth, fifth citation, then I'm sorry, you know, obviously something, there's got to be a consequence to pay there.
Do we have that information?
We don't handle the code violations.
Yeah.
Okay, just because I've heard it now a few times, I'm just wondering, you know, is it just your experience that you're stopping the same kids?
There are some,
Mm-hmm.
if I don't get any kind of buy-in from them or their parents, those are the ones that I've been issuing the uniform traffic citations
Okay.
to, because at least those have more consequences,
Uh-huh.
because that now affects that kid's ability to get a driver's license.
Right, which I think
When they do
is,
turn a driver's age,
uh-huh,
they do go through the county court system instead of, you know,
Wow,
city
okay.
code violation courts. And I do reserve that for those kids that I come in contact, where the parents don't care, the kids don't care. And like Commissioner Lama said, there needs to be some sort of consequences, and that's all I have at my disposal.
mm-hmm. Okay, Commissioner Viscar, did you have anything to add?
I'm in favor of increasing the fines, especially since we've been at this for over a year. And, you know, the message is out there. And to Commissioner Joseph's point, we are spending hours on it. And I'm sure that the fines we're collecting are not enough to make up for our efforts. So, you know, let's recover, you know, some of that, just a little bit more. So I'm okay with that. There's plenty of notice. We've been at this for some time. And I think, and also I agree with Vice Mayor Lama. So I'm okay with those things. I would like to explore the age piece, but I would like it to come from you. I'd like to hear from you what you think about that, and you may need time to see I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what that would
It's
be
tough.
for you. So I don't want to throw it on you. I'd rather, if that's a recommendation of now that you know where the community stands, I'd like it to come from you, and not impose it on you. So I'm good with thinking about that and hopefully moving forward, because I do like the idea. But again, I'm not you, and I'm not out there doing that. So I think for what's on the table, I'm good with it, but I would like to continue the conversation with regards to the community input and the age and ID.
Okay, so we are in agreement to raise it to 500 then?
It's 500.
Yes, that's our max anyways, correct? That we can do?
Yes, I guess the city manager can bring a recommended,
Okay.
that's the top number. I don't know that you want to hit
All right, so-
500 for every infraction.
Sure,
but-
all right. I think that we need the recommendation that we definitely want to,
We need to get people's attention.
I agree with that, absolutely. And I did not realize that piece about them being able to then get a driver's license and having an issue with that, because if anything, then I would be in support of not even giving a warning, really, pushing for that, because I think that that's scarier to a kid than anything else is not being able to
There's one other issue
get
we
their
have to
driver's license.
address.
1 second. Just one more question, and again, I know you don't have the data, but just because you really have become the expert on this, because you're out there every single morning, would you say that it's primarily the little kids that we're having the issue with? Or is it just everyone, including adults? Like, what, if you had to choose one demographic, like one group, to really say, okay, these guys are the ones that we're having the biggest problem with?
The bigger problem are the bigger kids.
The bigger kids?
The older kids, yeah, the
Okay.
kids that are either here in 8th grade or the ones, not during school hours.
Okay.
The 15, 16-year-olds.
Okay. Got it.
The
To my-
little ones really aren't much of a problem.
To my point that the only way we are going to solve this is with an age limit. So right now, we are not giving you any new tools. You have exactly the same tool that you have now that is not working clearly. And my question is that it is incredible that this is just about collecting more money, because that's not really scary for many of our residents. So they will gladly pay the fine and continue behaving how they are behaving. So and again, what a waste of time we had with this, like we need more data, well, we need more accidents, so we are gonna finally do something. There are so many municipalities all over Florida, they having micromobility summits left and right, just to talk about this issue, and they're taking really stands that they're not popular with the people. So I don't know what is it that we're scared of, but clearly we're not scared of accidents, of injuries of the elderly or the children, because again, we are not giving you any new tools, only just getting more money. Like I said, if that's the only consequence that they're gonna be receiving, I will not be in favor of changing anything that is money-wise. I want real solutions, and that is not a solution.
So in that regard, I would like to then make the age, if we're going to put an age, I would like to make it 17 because what is the oldest, the age of a person that goes to Edel Cup?
14 or 15.
14, so it has to be above that age.
That's why 16 is a good
Yeah.
number, because if you're 16, you're in 9th or in 10th grade. So you're not going in 8th anymore.
Right, but if our issue is with the older kids, that's one of the challenges as well. What are we, they
Well,
have to have
I'm
some
addressing his
consequences.
point.
Right. No, I understand, but the consequences have to be also intensified for those that are the ones creating the.
Well, I think that going there was a county court, going that path, I think that's a pretty bad,
Right.
I think that's a pretty bad consequence that we are exercising, very lightly, right? So, I mean, I actually think that's a pretty bad consequence.
I agree.
We're just not using it because we've been community whatever, the community.
I
Actually,
use it.
we do use it for repeat offenders.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but you're using it sparingly is what I'm saying, for the repeat offender people, not, you're not just hitting people with that, like, so. So I like that sparingly, path, because you're not hurting, kids that might, be prejudiced by that. But if we can eliminate a lot of the scooter usage, and by the way, beware of unintended consequences, because that means that they might go back to bicycles, and then you might have a bunch of bicycles back on the sidewalks, and you can still hit people with bicycles, but not maybe at the same speed. I'm just saying you might end up creating a different problem, but it is what it is.
I think we have to clear
Yeah.
clear the sidewalks.
Yeah.
For it. We don't want bicycles on the sidewalks as well. So if we're going to make a safe lane in the street, and by the way, Susan, when you spoke about taking away trees, you're talking about taking away part of the sidewalk, correct?
It would be, if you're familiar with North Bay Road,
Yes.
by Margolis Park, there's a swale on
Right.
both sides of the road that have trees in them
Yeah.
on both sides of the road.
Okay.
So we would lose them on
Right.
one side of the road and keep them on the other.
Okay, right, so you have the mound, yeah.
It would not impact the
Right.
use of the sidewalk as it
Right,
currently
okay.
exists.
Right.
Yeah,
Vice
so-
Mayor?
One comment, so if we clear the sidewalks of scooters and e-bikes, there's also the danger of having these kids on the streets as well. And that's a concern.
Well, we
that
talked
I-
about a
Wait,
guarded
let
lane.
the Vice Mayor finish.
Well, I know we talked about that, but also I wouldn't want to see a 12-year-old kid. Let's say we do not enforce any age restriction, right? And the officers just said that the main offenders are the older kids. So I mean, I wouldn't want to see small
See,
children.
that's going to get the parents to pay more attention because they don't want their kid riding in the street. Right now, they don't care
I don't want to see a
about the
kid getting
residents
run
on the
over.
sidewalks.
Yeah.
No, it's the parents. You have to be able to get the attention of the parents because right now, there's
understand.
no home training. There's no courtesy taught in homes any longer.
Yeah,
So
regardless.
These kids have no regard
I'm
for
just
the
saying that
person
that's a
they're
point of
going past.
consideration. That's a point of consideration. If you're talking about getting these kids off the sidewalk and onto the streets, I think there's also a concern there
Well,
when
we
they're on
wouldn't
the
make
streets.
an
yeah.
unguarded, we need to make it a guarded path in the street.
Well, we need to talk
We
about all
can't
that.
put
I'm
them
just
just
saying we need to
willy-nilly in the
consider-
street,
yeah.
good luck. We can't do that to the drivers, and we can't do that to the riders. We have to, if we're
Yeah.
going to take away the swell, then we have to make,
Well,
you know,
the
a
point
barrier-
is to
we
keep
have to
them
put some
separated
type of
as separate
post.
as possible.
yeah, we
Yeah.
have to put posts or whatever.
And that includes the cars, the riders of the e-bikes, the e-scooters, whatever it is, and the pedestrians, people walking. So we're talking about three
But
things
I
now.
would like to, since we spent so much time on this today, and even if we have to spend the next half hour and disregard the other issues, we need to leave here with something that the police department can work with today.
Let me ask you a question since you're in the hot seat right now. What is your recommendation?
So I don't think it's fair for us to give us
Okay.
personal opinions. I would just recommend giving the residents what they want.
Okay.
And we ask all the time to the people to go to these town halls and everything that we do. And we had a full house in Gateway to talk about this issue. And like I said, it was a 99-1 issue for the people that was there. So why are we asking people their input to go and speak out, and we are not even considering
Disregard.
their time of being there? The people say what they want. They're scared of the scooters in the sidewalks. The elderly is getting hit by these scooters. So we already have the data. We have the people. They show up. They were there. The parents were not there. I mean, only a couple of parents were there saying that that's their means of transportation. So the question is that why do we continue needing more time in making more meetings and more town halls if we're going to get exactly the same people with the same answer. They need a solution, and they need it right now. Back in, I believe, October, when they gave us a presentation about the data, etc., they said that within months we were going to have a recommendation. Actually, no, I think that was before that, around September. Then it was supposed to come before the end of last year, calendar year. Now we're in January, and we continue discussing, and we continue asking for more information. The information is there, the issue is right there. Like I said, other municipalities are doing the right thing. And I don't know if it's that the people, I don't know, scared of not being popular or whatever, but we are not making real decisions. It's not about money, it's about safety. Mm-hmm. And we need to, and nobody wants to see any child also in the streets. I don't think it is, we don't geographically has the capacity of putting like a nice lanes for scooters or bicycles in our streets. It's just not the way Sunny is designed. So actually what we need is to make sure that you guys have the tools, and thank you for all your hard work and everything that you do, but you don't have the tools right now. And that is apparently the discussion that we've been having forever, and apparently we continue having it forever.
Okay, so that's for clarification. You are in support of banning for under 16?
Absolutely.
And what else? That's it?
Any other fine or whatever is it that they are looking to do as well, you know? But a real solution will be age, yes.
So 16?
Sure.
Commissioner Joseph?
Okay, I'm for banning scooters, e-bikes on every sidewalk in the city. We need to make our sidewalks safe for our residents again. And as far as the fines, I would like to have them be the maximum. My only question is, when we spoke about that e-bikes now are classified still as bicycles?
Yes.
So how do we need to lobby Tallahassee to do more regarding that? Now, is there another statute we can use that we don't have this ridiculous $77 fine? Because if it's $77, then we don't have any adherence.
No.
So we need to be able to have something stronger. How can we get them, you know, other than with the $77?
Lobby your legislatures. What we have in our framework, that's it. They're governed as
So
bicycles.
$77, you're just going to get repeat
Wait
offenders.
a second, just for
That's a
clarification,
joke.
the electric motorcycles, for lack of a better word, that's what we're talking about?
No, he said bicycles.
You're talking about bicycles or the motorcycles?
The motorbikes, the e-bikes.
E-bikes are
he's-
different.
I
They're
think,
bicycles.
I think we're conflating two things. That's
I thought that you said earlier that the e-bikes come under the bicycle law.
Yes.
E-bikes do. Electric motorcycles don't.
Right.
If it has more than 750 watts
Right,
of
yeah,
power.
there aren't that many that we're dealing with regarding that.
Well,
Mostly we're with the
there
e-scooters.
was quite a few.
Yeah, there were, yeah. But our biggest problem on the sidewalks are the e-scooters and the e-bikes that are knocking people over.
Correct, and those are currently
Yeah,
regulated
and
as
that's-
bicycles.
So they're bicycles, actually.
Correct.
So the maximum fine is $77. That's absurd, okay? So we have to ban the scooters and the e-bikes on the sidewalks. That's our only way out. We can't continue with the fines, a ridiculous $77 fine that you're wasting your time, no one is adhering, and it's just you get repeat offenders, and our sidewalks are unsafe. And we
Okay.
have to come to that decision tonight.
all right.
That the fines, $77 fine is ridiculous, and we're just going to go on and on with this, and we have to be strong and step up and protect our residents.
All right, so you would like to ban all scooters and e-bikes off the sidewalks regardless of the
Yes.
age?
We start
Okay.
with the inner streets, and I will work on Collins Avenue.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, so I'd like to look into the age restrictions. I would like to see the delineation, how we could keep all three separated. I don't want to see kids or even older kids on the street. And also look at a fine structure, based on basically a tier level and based on repeat offenders, et cetera.
Okay.
Sorry,
Commissioner
that's
Vis-
kicking the can down the road.
Wait, Commissioner Joseph, you don't have the floor right now. Commissioner
Well,
Viscar?
like I said, you guys know I'm an incrementalist, so if we're gonna start with the fines and and fixing the road, great. And I would favor the 16-year-old age limitation with ID. Like, I want it to be, so if I don't care, wait a minute, oh, well, I'm 17, okay, well, you got no ID, well, too bad, right? I've always liked the confiscating idea. I know it becomes a challenge because we don't have where to put it and all of that, but, so for now, I think we should look at increasing the fines and being a little harsher, fixing the lane, adding a bike lane is gonna take time. And I would favor the age and ID restriction. But like I said, I don't want to throw it on you. I don't want to direct that. I would like you to do your homework and you guys tell us,
Yeah.
whether that's a reasonable thing. I think it is, but I need your expertise to tell me that it is.
Okay. Mr. City
So-
Manager, wait,
sorry.
1 second. Do you have enough information? I think we have a consensus.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
We don't have a consensus, because we're leaving here with kicking the can down the road again. We have 70% of our residents want scooters and e-bikes banned from our sidewalks, and we're not adhering to what our residents want.
I understand that, but the commission is looking for a 16 age limit.
No, that's 2 commissioners that are looking for that.
Commissioner Stuyvesant also
I
said
am for that.
16.
You're for that as well?
Of course, yes.
How can,
Yes, but my question is that who we are going to get information from? Like, who are we giving this directive? To the police department or to who?
Well,
To
This
give
has
the
to be-
recommendations that Commissioner Vizcarra is asking for.
You have to amend your ordinance. You have an ordinance on this, so you'll have to amend your ordinance.
No, but we are requesting more information. Who is going to be the responsible to provide that information?
What information?
No, I'm asking for a recommendation.
From who?
I'm not saying that we want, more data or whatever. We have the input, we know what, so I would ask it of the city manager, who I guess is gonna have to get it from our chief.
Right, so if we have, which we do, we have the consensus for 16 age limit, and the addition of the, whatever it's called, not iguana, what is it called?
Oh, the armadillo.
Armadillo. All of these things and additional enforcement have also a cost component attached to it, which we are, I think, in support of making sure that whatever we need to do to increase enforcement. And then me personally, I would say that, I don't know what you said as far as repeat offenders, but for me, if you break the law one time, I think it should be, you have to go to the county court or wherever you have to go. And I think that probably would make sense. If you're 16, at that point, you are licensed, so it would be very similar, correct?
You potentially could be licensed.
Well,
Right,
Ms. Mayor,
well, because for me, I would like to see it, I think that there's some other counties that do this where you have to have a license. Is that something that's possible?
A
Or no?
license for what?
To get for the scooter, the same as if
No.
you can't? Okay.
And what are your feelings about the scooters on the sidewalks?
It's a problem. But
70% of our residents
I
don't
understand
want
that, Commissioner Joseph.
What is
Go.
your feeling?
Go ahead, Mr.
Mayor,
Manager.
if I can try to summarize, so basically the direction I feel like I'm being given is, I'm going to go back, revise the ordinance for 16 and under, or establish that ordinance, revise the ordinance in regards to the fine to institute some maximums, either 250, 500, we'll figure that out. And then the third thing was to establish or give you a schematic on the bike delineation throughout the areas where we can. I think that's what I've heard today.
Okay,
If
well,
there's something different,
fine.
please let me know.
yes.
Wait, 1 second. Yes. Okay, Commissioner Joseph, please add.
So if we're talking about waiting to ban scooters and e-bikes from the sidewalks until we can have a safe bike lane in the street, That's never going to happen. So we're not accomplishing anything today. We're not accomplishing anything.
I
May
just wanted to say that, please, I agree with the directions that the city manager just established that he got, but please make sure that we can get that for the next meeting.
Deputy Manager?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Am I the only one who is for the ID piece?
ID,
I'm
kids don't
for-
carry ID.
Yeah,
That's
but,
the point.
but that was my question, was the requirement for a license. So that
No,
would
because
be,
you don't have to have I think if you have a state, I'm just saying, putting restrictions, right? Because, so if you have like a state-issued ID or a driver's license, a driver's license is better
Right.
because you have some sense of driving, but, not everybody can drive, but you can do you can scoot. I'm just saying it creates an extra layer.
I agree with you.
You know,
When they're getting the registration, don't they have to have a resident ID card to get the registration, Deputy Manager?
Yes, they do.
So
But it's
don't
the,
they?
it's the parents that are registering.
No,
the
I
rights.
know that, but, to Commissioner Viscar's point, as far as the ID is concerned, if we're saying 16, at 16, it's very acceptable to have some sort of identification that you can carry around with you.
I am
That's
okay.
my point.
I am okay with requesting some sort of ID.
Even
It
if it's-
doesn't have to be like a specific, like a driver's license of the state of Florida or whatever, because we have a lot of internationals also, so we have people from everywhere coming. But a form of ID, yes.
We have to check the statute, but I believe the ability for us to do that is contingent on it being government-issued ID. So we'll have to look at
Is a
that.
municipal ID considered a government-issued ID?
I don't, a resident ID, I don't think so. I don't think do you issue those for kids?
Yes,
We could,
we
yes.
did at least.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll have-
because the teens get an ID for the spot.
Okay, we'll have to double check that to see if the
Do you have an
statute.
age? Does it say the age on the ID? I don't
No.
remember.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't list their
That's the
age.
thing.
And
Yeah,
then what
so
do
if-
you do when they don't carry it with them? You
Can't arrest them, I mean.
We need
for not
to
having
do
ID.
things that are logical, that we don't put our police department in a just a waste of time situation.
Which is
That's
why
why
I
they're
want
gonna
the
look into
recommendation
it.
from them,
That- I
so
think
we're
we're
not imposing.
going around in
They know
circles.
right now what they can do and what
Okay.
they can't do.
Okay.
Let's ask them right now.
They said they
And-
don't want to put their person, they don't want it to look like it's their personal opinion, give them an
It's not.
opportunity to
We're
talk
asking their
about it.
professional opinion.
It is
When I, Mayor?
two people
Please,
here.
let's close this out, and I think we have
It's been
When
an
I
hour.
bring-
input.
When I bring you the recommendations that I do, it's not in a vacuum.
I see.
So my recommendations include discussions, obviously, with the chief and our police department, as well as our city attorney, to try to determine what's enforceable and to have the best possible outcome. So I think I have what you've told me, and to Commissioner Stuyvesant's point, we can have this ordinance back to you in February.
Okay,
These revisions.
perfect.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Now, is it practical on your part to quickly have a protected lane in the street? I don't think so. For me, my opinion is it's not practical. So if that's not practical, how do we get the scooters off the sidewalk quickly? Which 70% of our residents have already told you is their desire.
Go ahead, City Manager. I think we have the direction.
I have the direction
Okay.
from you, so it's ultimately up to you all to direct me as to what you want to do.
Well,
Okay.
but
I have
But
the
we're up
consensus.
here to do what the residents, the majority of the residents ask us to do, correct?
Yes, Commissioner Joseph, we have everyone's input in the consensus, so
So
we need to
I-
move on to the next item.
Well, I just want to be sure that we're going to follow what the residents have told us they want us to do.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it's 4:45. I just want to get consensus that we can keep going. Are we
Yes.
okay, or yes?
I'm okay.
Yes?
Let's get through whatever we can.
All right, so next item, please,
3C is a discussion regarding land acquisition.
Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, this is a simple item. I need some direction on As you know, people will approach me from time to time regarding selling their property. So I've brought to you in these past years properties that have become available to purchase. The best example I can give you is La Richelieu. Every time I drive by that, that's the property that was adjacent to the school. I look at it and I see an open space, and I also see, more importantly, a space that was prohibited from future development that we own, and you all can ultimately decide whatever you want to build there. But obviously, if we don't own it, we have no say over the future, and it also lends itself to development. So periodically, these lots come to me, and I'd like to know your direction for bringing them back to you in the future. And there's been discussion, well, what are we going to do with this property? What are we going to do with that property? The answer right now is nothing other than increasing our inventory and preserving it for the future. So I still have some interest from some of the properties in Golden Shores that people have approached me. So what I would like to know from you all as a group, if you would like for me to continue bringing that forward, because there's time spent from the city attorney as well as me negotiating. We have to get some appraisals before we bring those things back to you.
Okay. Commissioner Viscara, would you like to start?
I think as a general principle, I support acquiring land because you can't grow it. I think it's a good, guiding principle. But we've had good opportunities. I think the one that we know with the park, with the 2 pieces of land on both sides of the park, I thought that was a great opportunity, and we voted against it. So I certainly don't want to waste the city attorneys and the attorney's time if we're going to keep saying no. But as a principle, I think we should consider acquiring land, because once you build a house on it, forget it. And then when we need something, we're not going to even be in a position to negotiate. So, but as a principle, I do support it.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in support of acquiring land if I see a use for it, a utility, Going back to some of the items that were put in the agendas for Golden Shores, I just did not see the purpose for that. I just didn't see it because, I know it's land adjacent to the current park we have there, but I think the current park, the size there, the purpose of it serves that area well enough. You mentioned the one next to Pelican.
Richelieu.
Richelieu, right? Richelieu. Okay, that one made sense to me because obviously we have our community center there, we have the Pelican Park, and we could expand that. But when it comes to the other pieces of land, I just did not see the same comparison there, at all. So to me, I did not see the utility in acquiring those properties, those pieces of land. I'd rather take that money and then invest it into the parks that we already have. If we, in the future, are going to go ahead and build all-encompassing community center, for me, I'd rather use the money for that. Yeah.
All right, just so clarification, you are then opposed to acquiring land or for acquiring land? Not
It depends,
and
and
no
the-
specific piece. We're not talking
No,
about.
I'm in favor of acquiring land if it makes sense.
Okay.
To me, the ones in Golden Shore did not make sense.
Right, okay, thank you.
Period.
Yes. Commissioner Joseph?
Yes. So I have a question. I thought that, Mr. City Manager, you mentioned that there was another piece of property that.
Excuse me, Commissioner, can you move your
That
mic?
was, yes,
Thank
that was close to La Richelieu. Is there something else there that the city has its eye on?
Not right now,
No?
but we're looking for any opportunities.
Okay,
But as of right now, no.
okay. So the only properties in question right now are properties in Golden Shores?
Right now, I have 3 potential properties in Golden Shores.
Okay, so the one was the are next to the pump station. That one, for me, is totally out. That makes no sense. Now, around the park, there are 3 properties, right?
Total of 3, yes.
3, okay. So you had previously brought us one to the right side of the park, right? But that one, you didn't bring the other property that was attached to that one.
Right. The
Yes.
owner.
So without the second property giving the approval on the first one made no sense, because that had to be a package deal in order for the city to be able to present to the residents what could be there. Okay? Just the one property alone didn't give us the ability to really do much with it. So for me, unless it was the 2 properties together and it was that the city had worked up some deal, then it didn't make sense. The property to the left, which would be maybe a sitting area or some workout equipment, we can do that now in the park area that we have. There's plenty of green space to put workout equipment, which I would like to see occur.
Okay, so for clarification, are you opposed or in favor of acquiring land in general? Not any
Yes,
specific land?
Yes, I am absolutely in favor of the city finding opportune properties to purchase.
Okay. Commissioner Stuyvesant?
Well, the question was about the lands in Golden Shores specifically, to continue those, making those negotiations, right?
Yes, it's for that and any other future properties as they come up.
Okay, clearly, if we owe 3 pieces of a 4-piece block, and you are able to get or negotiate the 4th piece, so we can own the whole block anywhere in the city, clearly, I do believe we are all gonna want you to do that. Not in a specific area, but anywhere that you are gonna acquire like really whole block or something like that. And there are a few places in the city where that might be possible. So for that, I will completely be in favor. However, I also have voted, or not voted because actually I don't think we had to because it wasn't a second, about the specific properties in the Golden Shores, and I do not believe they make sense either. So if the question is about those specific pieces that came from Golden Shores already, nothing has been presented to me that will make any change of what we decided before. So for those specific pieces, I don't see the public purpose. And also, I don't think even the price was right. But that's not the point. But if you find good opportunities, I'm of course for it. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. City Manager, is that enough input for you?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Are we okay to keep going?
I need it because this is something I need to push to 6. So just give me I can do it in 5 minutes.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So this is the, since we didn't have December, everything is like packed. But I want to bring forward to you at 6:30 our legislative priorities. And Mauricio sent you guys like a bunch of bills that with Ben, who spoke to us earlier, and Myra and the FLC platform. We sort of tried to condense the things that that we think would be applicable. And so the categories, remember last year we just did the categories and try to like plug in bills as we went. This time, because we're kind of like a month behind, and they've already had a lot of committee activity before it even started. So what has been decided is we'll do the categories, and I'm just recommending to you bills from the beginning off of the FLC platform. Mm-hmm. And I know that sometimes our particular city does not align with the FLC platform. That's why I'm giving you the bills in advance, so that at 6:30 you guys, we can go, do you want to oppose this one? Okay, and we don't have a consensus, fine, we put it aside. So at the end of that item, we'll have like whatever bills we do have consensus on, either opposing or supporting based on the FLC platform, right? Because I think that makes it easier. So if the FLC supports something and we want to oppose it or vice versa, then we just take that out. And we individually can handle that however we want,
Okay.
So the categories are home rule, condos, which is only one that we like to support, and sustainability, which that same bill is back. It's very similar about the, so we have, those are the three categories. Home rule, condo, and sustainability. The bills are on your side of the fence. These include the tax bills, land development, and suits against the government, the local business, which is part of the tax stuff, and requiring a professional condo firm to handle associations that are above a certain amount, and then the sustainability one. So that's what was sent to you. I'm not asking you to agree now. I'm just asking you, I'm giving you like a heads up on what I'm going to ask you to consider in terms of setting our legislative priorities. No, I have to push it to 6:30.
So
but I'm giving you the preview now so that I'm not hitting you with something that you don't know what I'm talking about.
So if everyone could please, is everyone okay with reviewing it prior to the meeting so that we can vote on it then?
Yes, that would be fine.
It was fairly short, I think.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of bills, but it's like
not.
House and
Right.
Senate, so
Right.
it's really
Okay.
not that many.
All right.
But it's on your side of the fence, and like I said, if you don't have the time, if you can't review it all, then it doesn't make the list, and then we can maybe add some next month or whatever. But
All right.
I just want to set the priorities, because we started that last year, and I want to create like a pattern of how to do
So
it.
just one question,
Yeah.
Commissioner Viscar. There's everything on there is FLC. There's nothing there that's separate.
All
from,
FLC.
okay. All right. That's the only question.
And the FLC position.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in the past you had one or two, I think, that you were supportive
Right,
of,
but
but
we
this is
can-
all FLC.
Just as priorities, and then
Okay.
we can, like the one that we did was scooters. There's a couple of scooter
Sure.
pieces out there, but that's not FLC.
Got
So
it.
we just, to keep it simple.
Thank you.
All right.
I'd like to just, if I could speak regarding 3J for 4 minutes.
Are we okay? Wait, that's, our next item is 3I. The lobbyist contract. So could we just keep going? Are you guys okay with keep going? Yes, all right.
Okay.
All right, Mauricio, next item.
3I is a discussion regarding the city's lobbyist contract.
Okay.
Sorry, did we make some agenda changes here?
We did,
Yeah, we
yes.
did.
So,
Before you got here.
so just to recap
Yeah, we're just
for
gonna
Vice
do that next
Mayor,
month, because this is a long agenda.
3D, 3E were deferred. 3H was already considered and discussed. So now we're on 3I.
Yeah, D, E, F, G, all deferred. Oh, no, E, F, we did it, sorry. Go ahead. All right. Go ahead. Whose item is this?
Okay, so about this, I request certain information to understand why we didn't get a lobbyist. I don't know if you, city manager, would like to first, because he sent us an email, and elaborate, and then I will ask my questions.
Please, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So we've had a long-standing relationship with our lobbyist, and in doing some of the research, it's been determined that since November of 2003, we've paid a total of $1,188,878 to this lobbyist in particular. So in going back and looking at our records when this came up, it was determined also that this contract had never been bid out. So when we had a discussion internally about it, the idea was that I could, technically under my authority, go out and seek another lobbyist under the $50,000 threshold that you've given me. But in the interest of transparency and to get your feedback, especially for an issue like this, it was determined that we're going to put this out to bid and then bring you back what we feel like is the best bid for lobbying services. So to that end, this bid will be released tomorrow for lobbyists, and then once we get that narrowed down, we'll bring it back to you from there.
Okay.
Do we have enough time with
Wait
the
a second, wait,
legislative
Commissioner
session?
Joseph, let Commissioner Stevenson finish, it's her item.
Okay, so I make a simple timeline about this. So in June of 2024, there was an email from the city saying that the city manager would like to extend this agreement for another year, blah, blah, blah. And part of the benefits of working with this firm is that we were getting weekly reports about what was happening in Tallahassee. So, for example, in March 10, the staff got week 1 report. Those reports were transmitted or shared with us, as far as you guys know, because I checked my email, and they were not. So they sent March 10, week 1, March 17, week 2 report, March 21, week 3 report, March 30, week 4 report, April 7, week 5. And the week 5 was very interesting because they were talking about the money that we were requesting for the Bella Vista Park Marine Patrol and what was happening in Tallahassee with appropriations, etc. Then we have April 13, week 6, April 21, week 7, April 25, week 8. It's true that our lobbyists cost money. And actually, I remember the first year when I got elected that I requested more information why we were giving this contract without even bidding, and we get an email and a memo about how wonderful they were, etc. Also, they secure 1.5 million for one of the projects. I don't find it here right now, and 9.5 for the drainage project. So I see that they were valuable in whoever we were working with. So that was April 25. We got the week 8 report. Then in September of 2025, there was an email sending that we were requesting the final bill, and we were notifying them back in September 11 that we were not going to renew the contract with them. So that was September 2025. What happened also? That because we were not renewing, we didn't have anybody in Tallahassee fighting for us to put any kind of appropriations for the new fiscal year, meaning that this year we don't have any appropriations coming to us. In a year when there is discussions about eliminating property taxes, most municipalities were doing the opposite, telling Tallahassee how much we need money from them to let them know that if we are not getting property taxes revenues, then all the burden is going to be in Tallahassee. So we don't have anybody defending us in Tallahassee. We don't have any requests being made right now. We are not even part of the discussion, which is a funny thing, because I was talking to my people in Tallahassee, and they said that we have a very good relationship with the governor, which I know we do, and this is his last year, so we could have been considered to receive big money from Tallahassee, but we are not there anymore. We just, somebody make the decision, which is kind of like a policy decision, because let me see here in my notes, it says, somebody decided not to seek funding without any commission approval. This is not administrative, day-to-day decision. This is a major policy shift, because we've been asking for appropriations forever, which also that give leverage to our representative over there to sit down and negotiate. So this is like a major gaslight to receive in January 2026 a memo that starts, as you know, because we didn't know, or at least I didn't know, we didn't get informed. That was a decision that was made internally without knowledge from any of us, as far as I know, because at least I can talk for myself. We were not receiving the reports that they were creating. So that as on its own is really bad. I spoke with somebody from the firm, and they told me that they put a lot of effort in creating those reports. They had no knowledge that we were not getting the reports that they were making weekly and sending to the city. So again, to receive an email, a memo in January, starting like, as you know, we decided not to renew the contract. No, that was a decision internally that is going to be affecting many of our projects, which is very interesting because we are putting in our budget that we need around $90 million to continue with our capital improvement plan. So I guess that's something that we're just going to get from our residents, because we are not asking anything from Tallahassee. And this is really not best practices, and I wanted to put it out there because I would love for you guys to have that kind of information that I had to gather.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Joseph,
Yes.
You said something?
So,
you had a question?
I'm speaking in this regard.
Right, right. Mhm.
Yes. So, yes, I see it as actually a error in judgment on the part of the city manager to not have the city with some representation in Tallahassee. To leave us without representation was a big mistake.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I want to understand how you came to this decision and why the updates, because we used to get them before. We would get the updates. So why were those updates not forwarded to us or sent to us? So I need to understand what was the thought process and any reason we don't know why we obviously did not renew with this lobbyist.
We can't say the name of the lobbyist?
Yeah, we know the name of it. Ron Book, yeah.
Ron Book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for clarification, Mr. City Manager, the emails that are being discussed, these are, if you can just clarify what that is, and then what our process for appropriations is, with how it differs, if you can answer this, with a lobbyist versus our representative and our senator, who also are there representing us, obviously.
Right, we do have representation from our senators and the people that we know in Tallahassee. So in terms of those reports, they're generic reports, biweekly reports. At your last session last year, we had asked for some assistance in arranging meetings in Tallahassee. And our office, or the city manager's office, our chief of staff arranged and set all of those meetings for you on her own. So that, with the addition of another member of our staff that has some experience in legislative issues, along with, we also, if you recall, last year or the year prior, we expanded our services through the firm that the city attorney works with to also give us input on legislative issues. So based on all of that and the fact that this had never been bid out before, I thought it would be a best practice to put it out to bid. And I still think it is. So the fact that you're being lobbied by the lobbyist, what about the other firms that are out there?
What if you can just remind us, what was the annual cost for the lobbyist?
It was
$72,500.
$72,500 a year.
And how much additional we're giving to the city attorney's office or company for the same reports that we were giving for those 70,000. So we were paying twice, but we were getting only one of the reports, because the reports the company of Ron Book made very specific also to our specific appropriations were not given to us. They were not being shared with us. I will like for the city clerk to share the request that I made with the rest of the commission so they can read on their own those emails. So again, we were getting 2 reports. We were receiving one. We were paying both companies. However, one of them, The one that we were not receiving the information from is the one that we were paying to do this job. And I find out that we were not in the appropriations for the 2026, 2025, 2026 fiscal year from a representative. They called me to let me know that we were not part of that conversation. When everybody was making insane amount of appropriations because of what is going on in Tallahassee with the property taxes, we were not part of the conversation. They could not start the appropriations on their own. It's a very specific form that it has to come from our staff, the signature, for them to be able and put and said, well, you know what? There is a big idea about doing a park under the causeway, which, by the way, the OT people told me that they are totally for it. We need X amount for that. Or we are considering the pedestrian bridge around the Winston Towers, whatever. The point is that of the sand issues that we have, we are not part of the conversation. We were not receiving the goods that we were paying for. And yeah, that just...
Okay.
This is totally wrong.
To Commissioner Stevenson question, are you able to clarify why we did not ask for appropriations?
We didn't have any shovel-ready projects this year, and the governor has stated that he wanted everyone to look at tightening their budgets, and then obviously we're going into a budget year, so we're going to be looking at doing the same thing.
Okay. Mr. City Clerk, if you can share the request that Commissioner Stevenson has asked for, I'd like to see that as well.
Yes.
Commissioner Viscar, did you have any questions or anything to add?
No.
Okay. As far as sending this out to bid, I absolutely support it. In fact, I encourage our current lobbyists to bid for it as well, obviously. I didn't realize that we never bid it out. I made an assumption that we did in past years.
No, we would just renew. It was just a renewal.
Right, I didn't know that. I thought that at some point we did.
Well,
So-
actually, about the bidding issue, I pointed out back in 2022, like I said, when I just got elected, and that I was gaslighted about that's the way we do it. So now apparently it's not the way we do it. I'm all for bidding, and I'm being very consistent with that. That is not the issue for me at all. And right now I find that we have over $90 million that we need in what is considered in the budget as necessary infrastructure investment. So that is it right now in a capital improvement plan. So to say that we don't have any shovel ready, okay, so we don't need any more money for the underground utilities, underground project that is in the north side of the city. That is a question. So we don't need any more money for that. Or the Central Island.
I think what would
No,
be...
I want to know the answer.
I'm getting clarification. So I think it would be helpful to have an understanding of how this works and what is eligible and what's not eligible, because I'd like to know how it is that we even decide what's appropriations we request, and whether they go to, Representative Basabi or Pizzo or a lobbyist or our attorney, like who has what role and how is that decided?
Okay.
But I do have still the question about if we don't need no more funding for those two specific projects.
So who's representing us now?
No one.
We have,
Tallahassee.
we are reviewing it ourselves. We've added a person on our team that has legislative experience, and also we use Allen's firm. If there's any specific appropriations that you all would like, let me know.
We cannot request no more for this fiscal year. And we are paying the island's firm how much? Like $50,000 more?
I believe it's $9,000. It's just a little north of $9,000.
Okay,
and
so
it's just,
we're paying even more than we were paying before, and we don't have over there the nobody representing us. This is just like not good governance, and to the point that we are not doing things the proper way. And I still have the question: we don't need more money for the Central Island project drainage and for the underground utilities on the underground project in the north side?
So I would like to.
Can they
I
answer
think
my
we should have
question,
been
please?
consulted.
Wait, let's do
May
that.
I-
my
Wait,
question.
wait,
Okay, go
wait,
It's
one
very
second.
specific.
Vice
Do we
Mayor.
need money or not? That's super simple.
Susan, you want to weigh in?
As it relates to those two specific projects, the undergrounding, we cannot apply for because those appropriations require you to write your bid a particular way and contracts
Thank
have
you,
to be
Susan.
written.
That's not the question that I'm
Wait.
asking. I'm so sorry.
May
Yeah.
I finish?
Uh-huh.
It is, so that project is not eligible.
That's not
the
my
point.
question. I'm asking is we do need the money for
No,
it.
you asked about two specific projects. I was
Yes.
answering that question. The Central Island Drainage Project, we do not believe we are eligible for any more money for that because it requires a 50% match. And based on the projected pricing of this project and what we've already been appropriated, we would not be eligible for more money because that would take us over the 50%. I can answer for those two projects
Well,
specifically.
that's not, my question is is very specific. Do we need the money from whoever for those two projects, or we have all the money that we need to finish those projects
For those two projects, they are funded.
fully?
Those
So
two-
nothing is coming to us ever for those two projects?
Yes, we already have an award, we have two awards for Central Island Drainage.
Okay, so we have all the money that we
That
need.
require a 50% match, so we cannot ask for more.
Okay.
Susan,
We're going to
how
go in
much- how much
circles
do-
because that's not the case.
What's the, if you can, I know that you don't have that in front of you necessarily, but can you, at some point, if possible, later on today, let us know how much has been appropriated for
Yes.
that? Because that's a many, many years project, so, okay. 9.5 is how much we got from the state?
Yeah, and if it goes more, we just need to match the difference. And that's why you have people that are experts on this, because I'm not the expert, and I don't believe anybody here in this room right now is the expert either. So we have experts to do this. To not even be part of the conversation is a disservice to our taxpayers. So those are the kind of decisions that are always make closed doors, that we are not part of it. You guys knew and make this decision internally, which is a policy shifting decision, back in September. And then we get the gaslight of an email in January telling us, as you know. No, we did not know. Putting as you know doesn't make us know about it. So really, this is very upsetting.
Okay.
We really put the city behind the eight ball. It's unfortunate.
No, the residents.
So just, I guess my response to all of that would be, I think I did exactly what you asked me to do. Which is to bid out projects, specifically you, Mr. Stuyvesant. So if it had been the opposite and I automatically renewed with Ron Book, then you wouldn't have been aware of it because I could have done it under my authority. The fact that it's never been bid out leads it to be very suspect. So it absolutely needs to be bid. So I stand by that decision.
Isn't
I
it
think
late
it's the
in the
right
season
decision.
anyway to bid it now?
It is late in the season, but as I explained, we don't have any shovel-ready projects. The governor has said he's severely limiting. Just because you ask for appropriations, the city's going to ask for millions of dollars doesn't mean you're going to get anything. And many of them require matching funds, which you all have directed me to trim our budget. So by utilizing the city attorney's firm for $9,000, we saved a substantial amount of money versus the $72,500 that we've been giving every year. So yes, it definitely needs to be bid out and brought to you, which is exactly what I'm doing. You are going to dictate who our lobbyist
When
is.
was the last time that we bid out the city attorney's firm?
Well,
That was done in 2019, I believe, yes.
Well,
I
hope
think we started
you
in
apply the
2019.
same logic to it, because, like I said, I'm all for bidding, but to hear the cost of picking and choosing, and again, I hope we're going to apply the same logic for every other item moving forward, because the cost and the impact that it has on our residents is major. And like you said, it is true. The appropriations has become some kind of a wish list of whatever they are asking for. And that's why they sit down in Tallahassee. They are not subject to our sunshine. And my friends over there said they actually sit down in a dinner table to negotiate between the representative what they are going to be supporting on what. We took that leverage from our representatives to be able to negotiate that for us. So we are not even part of the conversation. And I don't believe we never give that direction that not to continue asking for appropriations. If anything, like I just said, we have 90 million in what we are considering necessary infrastructure investment. So we could be part of that wish list because we have a lot of things still to continue doing, and we are not even part of the negotiation. And I know that it's possible with the language to manipulate everything, but it will be also very good to just confess that this was not a good decision.
The impact to our residents is substantial in savings by putting it out to bid.
I'd like to go on to the next item. Vice
May
Mayor,
I
if you
really
can
quick?
just
So-
finish up so we can go to the next item.
So really quick, I think we should have been consulted before making this decision. I know you have the sole, let's say, decision-making capacity to hire or to fire our lobbyists, but we should have been consulted, especially at this critical time in the year. I think the timing was not good. And then another point is that those updates, I would have liked to receive them, because even if the update was, there's no update, I would have liked to see that. You know, I don't need an editor telling me what am I going to see or not.
Vice Mayor,
Yeah.
if I may, Myra used to forward those to you every week, and we would get, our office would be copied on them.
She mentioned some that were not forwarded, or the city manager
The one
mentioned
from the
that.
lobbies
Yes.
that they were seen in 2025 were received, I didn't have them. I received the one from the
I
city
received some
attorney's
before,
firm.
but lately I haven't received
I
any,
received the
though.
one from the city attorney's firm, yes.
Those,
I
yes.
received, yes.
Mhm.
No, they would
What
come
are we
from,
talking about then?
so Ron Book's office would send it to Myra, and she would
Yeah.
forward it to you, and she would copy our office.
When did that stop, though?
During-
It
is it
stopped
during
at some
session?
That's
point.
during session, Vice Mayor. The session just started.
Every week.
Yeah, the
Okay,
session just
'cause I had-
started.
Yeah.
Okay, let's-
And then the other is, I think that we should have a lobbyist up there, because it's not only regarding appropriations, I'm also worried about policy. Policy coming from Tallahassee, from some of the legislature up there, where we could perhaps, fight or perhaps promote certain policies that will impact the municipality. So, yeah, that's basically it. I think maybe we could have
Mayor?
timed it a little bit
Yes,
better.
please, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Would you all like to choose a lobbyist, or would you like for me to choose them for you?
I would like the city manager to choose a lobbyist.
I'm for bidding, so it has to be.
Right, after the bidding.
Okay, then I've done what you've asked.
Yeah, I don't think that
It's
the
being
commission needs
placed out to bid, and it'll be up to you.
I'm okay with that. I mean, and I agree that we should go out to bid. Ron Book, I mean, it's been around forever. I think his name speaks for itself. Every time we renewed that contract, I was okay with it, because just he's it's an institution basically. Whether lately it's been good for us or not, that's debatable. But yeah, we should go out to bid, and I think that moving forward, we need to be consulted with, especially if, we are lacking representation right now in Tallahassee at a critical moment of the year. We have legislative session starting, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah, legislation has started, but I want to make sure that for the public and for the record, we all agree that we have very good representation from Representative Basabe and Senator Pizzo, and I think that all of us here, I think every single one of us has been to Tallahassee numerous times, and we've gotten very involved, and I think that that's great that we're doing it as well, and I think that our city attorneys should also be as involved as possible in making sure that any legislation that could hurt us is being flagged.
I understand. Yeah. But it's always good to have someone.
I don't disagree. I think it's always
yeah.
good to have more, but I'm going to disagree with you that paying for someone just because they're an institution,
No,
it's-
but
it's
that's why I
tricky.
said that, when we renewed it, I mean, I'm
Right.
like, okay, it's
No.
Ron Book, it's a powerhouse, but you know, when it's time to make a change, it's time to make a change.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a big institution or reputable company, sometimes you need to make a change. So I'm in agreement of that. I just want to be informed and not be told after the fact.
Right.
That is where I have an issue.
If
Okay.
I may,
Yes.
it doesn't mean that the firm can't bid, but I think we need to,
No,
we
no,
need to
no.
consider them in comparison to others, right? And-
Yeah, I'm just
and look
taking
at our. No, I know, I'm just
general
saying,
terms as yeah.
I'm saying it's not necessarily a change. If they bid and
Yeah.
and then we pick them again, great. But we're gonna look at other things, so.
Okay, it's 5:30. Can we keep going?
I'd just like to say
No,
that
no.
my disappointment is the fact that we're 4 months behind. This should have been done 4 months ago.
Okay,
And Mayor,
Thank
I
you.
just want to say I always appreciate all of your feedback.
okay,
It's noted. Thank you.
thank you. All right, we're okay to keep going?
Yes, I'm good.
Yes, yes?
I'll be brief.
We have 2 more items. Yes, any objections? All right,
Can we-
Commissioner Joseph, you're
Can
right.
we do it,
Okay.
can we do it in like 10 minutes?
Yeah, can we please just do
Yes,
it?
absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
So I previously brought to the commission the fact that Lucas Vidal and Romero Brito were interested in doing the designs and with the city doing the wrapping of our lifeguard stations. At that time, we were discussing 3. It turns out we have 10 lifeguard stations, and Romero Brito was interested in doing all 10. I know the mayor had thrown out that she wanted to have community participation and have novices up against Romero Brito, which is kind of absurd to me because you have an artist who has his artwork on postage stamps that wants to highlight our city to our benefit, not to his. And I believe that we should accept that they're willing to donate their time and efforts into doing a great job on all 10 of our lifeguard stations. Also, I was told that they now, for our new intercoastal park, would like to donate a sculpture to that park. So I'm asking the commission also to consider the acceptance of a large sculpture from Romero Brito for our intercoastal park.
Sure.
Any questions?
No, I'm good for it.
Anybody? Any questions, comments?
Well, I would like
Go
to
ahead,
move it then
Jen.
to 6:30 if we can't have a consensus
What do we, wait,
during the workshop.
I'll have to look at the designs. I mean, Romero Brito, I think, you know, the name, everybody, or most everybody knows that name. They're familiar with his art. My issue is that I would need to see what the designs are.
They would be all seascapes.
Seascapes, okay. And then we had some community engagement. So, you know, I'm still thinking about this, but I would like to, perhaps not all 10 lifeguard stations would be Romero Brito, but perhaps we'll have a mix, right? Where we could have some engagement from the, you know, some of the other art that was presented, you know, so, I don't know, I'm still thinking about this. I mean, I'm in favor of Brito, but also I would like to perhaps mix it up.
okay. Commissioner Mascaro?
We looked at the different, like at the samples, I think at our last meeting.
There will be more
Excuse
samples.
me. And we were going, like page by page, and we were all of different tastes. But I think this is something that's supposed to go through the PAC and have that committee. We have to convene the committee and then have them take their time and look at that. I like the city's recommendations, and I happen to like Brito art also, you know, but the two did not go together. I think of the Brito stuff, only one of them. Did you guys get your printouts? Because maybe I'm the only one who like turned in my printouts.
I turned them in.
So, and because I was thinking of keeping both, kind of like what the Vice Mayor is saying. There was really only one print that I thought, and I wouldn't mind it being repeated. I found some of the samples that we had, they were just too busy, or they
Some of
weren't,
those were
excuse
not
me,
seascapes.
they were just too busy or too, like, or not beachy, right? We wanted them to be like beachy. And I would like them to match the designs that we had. So so there was one print. If there are other prints, I would consider it, I do like it, or maybe you can do it so like the first one and the last one are Brito, but then we have the more, because it's not everybody's cup of tea. Like, I happen to like it, but I know some people don't. So you can maybe have like the bookend approach and whatever, but that's a conversation for the pack, as I've said repeatedly. Like, I'm not a visual person, and when we sat here and tried to do it ourselves, it didn't go very well. So I would punt this to people who can sit down and exclusively think about these things.
Okay. All right.
Mayor?
Yes.
May I just add, I just want to remind you all that when we had another donation of a sculpture, and in my conversation with Lucas, they're looking at like a 6-foot sculpture. I believe the expense of the foundation, the permitting, the design of the foundation, all of that would be borne by the city, and that could cost you between $15,000 to $20,000. So I just want you to be aware that there's a financial impact that would have to come to you in the form of a budget amendment.
Well, I'm in agreement with Commissioner Viscar. If we start taking any sort of decisions based on art, we need to have a group of people that are experts to be able to make that decision, because I will
have a
say,
question in that
wait a
regard.
second, please, Commissioner Joseph, because to Commissioner Viscar's point, who I can attest is a fan of Brito. She's got Brito in her office that she created herself. We do have other artists, not novices, but actual artists that have shown a lot of interest in showing in our city in various ways. So I don't want to be the one to decide who gets to, be shown in a park or anywhere, especially if there's an expense associated with it. Because again, it's a decision that needs to be made for the entire city. But it's your item. Finish it up, because we promised 10 minutes.
So I would like to ask, who is it that decided on, and I have nothing against Mayor Sofrani and, his wife's company, but who is it that decided on having them come to the city?
What are you talking about?
The art display that we just had at the first floor.
I wasn't here when you guys did the art display, but
No, who?
you're asking the wrong question to the wrong person.
I'm
Mr. City
asking-
Manager, can you please answer the question?
Deputy, can you?
I believe you're talking about the art display of the
reason for-
sculptures and the.
Right,
Yes.
so that was
Who is it that decided on that?
city staff.
City staff. So
yes.
that didn't go to any art committee?
Because it was an event. That's an event, not something that we're keeping here as a permanent installation or even a long-term temporary. It was temporary installation.
So
It
that
was an event.
didn't go out for bidding? That was just offered to the city staff
It did
by
not go out to
someone, and it
bid.
was just accepted or not?
It was in cooperation with a gallerist to provide an art event during Miami Art Week, which was a direction we got from this
But how did they come to the city
commission.
in the first place? That's what I'm asking.
I met her through, she called us, and we had a meeting with her a couple of years ago, the city manager and I.
Just like that.
We get
was-
a lot of people who reach out to us just like that, yes.
I think the key to that is it was an event for Art Week that the commission has approved as part of the budget. So, and that's temporary, whereas what you're talking about now is permanent.
Okay, so we don't alternate artists, we just use the same gallery time after time now?
Oh, we alternate. We alternate.
We didn't alternate.
To recall, we had the bird cage exhibit, I think it was last year. It was a different artist. So we've had different artists for different events.
Okay, but still the
And
same gallery.
Well, we also had, we featured a local artist with this one also, so it wasn't the same.
We paid a broker to give recommendations, right? Or you're talking about the broker?
No, we didn't use a broker.
I asked this question last year, and I was informed that the decision of the artist that was being promoted it came to us through a broker that we had.
What artist?
No, that same that he's referring to during the Art Basel week. So, yeah.
The gallery, the gallerist who
The whoever,
features
like,
several artists. I think she has like 6 or 7 different artists that are on display.
When we had that discussion, I request how we got to, if we pay anything for it, and that was the answer, that yes, we paid the broker to help us choose who we were going to display, or we were paying through the broker to the artist, but there was money involved on that.
We pay for installation and removal. Yes.
So we pay, correct, so.
For installation removal, we don't pay to rent the art we don't pay the artists directly.
Well, clearly, because we are promoting them, so that's basically the payment for them, and they have no cost because we are paying for the installation, which is also a high cost. This is like very similar to what happened with the lobbyists. These closed doors decisions, I don't think there is no transparency. They are not really good governance. They are not 2020 say type of government. These things should come to us because it smells funny the way things had been done. And then with the excuse that everything is there and we pre-approve it when we approve the budget, then we should maybe take a better look at the budget, because that was excuse even for the first time I asked how much do we are spending in the city anniversary that nobody knew. It had to be put together because it's in little pieces everywhere, and that's how we find out that it was $150 and now we are over $300,000, but there is not a line that it says that. So again, it's hard to be able to trust when we are not part of the process, and this is, we are not being part of the process. So if this come to us like any other important issues, I think that'll be better.
Okay.
I think we've strayed very far.
Yes, we have. Let's go to the next
yeah.
item. 3K is the last item. Vice Mayor, this is yours.
Yeah, this is really simple. I mean, I keep receiving complaints from time to time about the cleanliness of our beaches, and specifically some buildings where, you know, once the residents from those buildings leave, they just leave a mess there. And those buildings are not picking up after the residents. So we need to see how we could enforce that on a consistent basis where it doesn't, like, I don't want to see it cured for a couple of weeks and then they go back to their, you know, bad habits again. So, I mean, it's their beach too. So I think they all need to take care of it. You know, I know that we also clean the beach, but you know, a lot of it eventually starts getting accumulated by the grassy areas there, you know, closer to the buildings. And I've walked a couple times around there, and yes, I mean, it shouldn't be. It's not a situation that should, you know, we shouldn't have that issue at all. Yeah.
Okay.
And the buildings need to be responsible.
We will look
Yeah.
into that, yes.
All right. So with that, meeting is adjourned, and I'll see everyone back here at 6:30. Thank you.